we're going.
Yes, I did take a dump
Okay.
at him.
Thank you for saying dump at the beginning of this recording.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I was reading popular science in there as well.
Okay. Well, if we're ready to start, if we all have our drinks and our snack-oos, we will begin the first session of Stella Gaia, The Age of Whiteflame. Thank you for confirming for me, Alexander.
All right, Stella Gaia, you said Age of Whiteflame.
The Age of Whiteflame is going to be the name of this current arc.
Age of Whiteflame.
Or campaign. I'm sorry, this is going to be the name of the
dang
campaign.
it,
Age of
the
Whiteflame.
stupid helping Alex with his setting up a
demo boss encounter?
Yeah, that was the stumble duck fight.
Yeah. Okay. So, Age of Whiteflame, Stella Gaia. The year is 50 AD, after dragons. Our story centers on the Kingdom of Humanity, the greatest society in the history of Stella Gaia. 50 years have passed since the Platinum Dragon resigned himself to the King of Humanity, Austin Whiteflame, and the kingdom has begun its reign. Despite the great triumph against the dragons, several societies have split from the kingdom for their own purposes, creating a landscape of various cultures, armies, and economies in the various landscapes of the continent. The kingdom has largely known peace, but any veteran of life knows that peace never remains true, and that trouble always brews in an age of comfort. Many lives have been born and also brought to the Kingdom of Humanity, but our story today centers on recent foreign citizens that have had their destinies brought to the heart of society. As the sun begins to rise, a man by the name of Grimgor Talstag awakens in the comfort of his tavern room inside the Adventurers Guild, an independent organization that specializes in aiding inside and outside of the kingdom, along with eliminating petty, moderate, and sometimes severe threats outside of the kingdom that the Emissial Guard does not have time for. So, we center in Grimgor Talstag awakens in his room after a much-needed and long rest.
So I guess to start with, I'll go downstairs. I'm not going to describe my character until someone actually runs into him. So I'm going to go downstairs and go talk to Elizabeth, I guess.
Okay. So you open your door and you make your way downstairs, and you notice that the Adventurers Guild is fairly empty, surprisingly. But you kind of think to yourself, well, everyone's probably taking the requests, and they've probably already gone out in the morning. You walk downstairs and you see the long dinner tables that they have. Just about 3 other adventurers, ones that you don't really know or seem very interested in, kind of just sitting and eating. Elizabeth is at her front desk. She is tidying up some papers.
All right. Who are the 3 people?
There's just a half orc there, and just 2 a half orc eating by himself and 2 humans eating with each other. Okay. They don't look like very high adventurers.
All right, then I'll walk up to Elizabeth and be like, excuse me, Elizabeth.
She kind of like tidies up her papers, and she quickly looks up to you and she goes, "Ah, Grimgor, I take it that you had a good night's rest?"
Yeah. I remember talking to you last night about looking for a blacksmith shop so I can go purchase myself a scimitar.
Ah, yes, I do remember you telling me about that. Let me go into the back room and let me get you a quick map of the city. And so she quickly goes into the back room and disappears for a moment.
Better not be metal.
And as you're waiting, you hear heavier footsteps than you would normally hear coming from down the stairs.
Beep,
and
boop,
you see a man. Kind of a bigger, broader kind of man walking down the stairs. And Alexander, if you would like to describe your character, you can go ahead as you come down the stairs.
He seems pretty nondescript, almost disturbingly so, if you will. Just that very generic, general-looking human, brownish, blondish hair, brown eyes. Seems like he's wearing a dungeoneering backpack, has some studded leather armor on. Clearly an adventurer, but just very cookie cutter, if you will. Comes down, looks around. He has somewhat jerky movements. Maybe he's really sore from a hard day of training, something the day before, and just has some the hand axe, light hammer. Nothing really fancy about him at all, as far as you can tell. Looks around. Doesn't really make direct eye contact with anyone in particular. He doesn't know anyone who's down there. Eventually settles on you. Hasn't met you yet. Kind of gives you a quick up and down. and then continues coming down the stairs.
I would just like to say, I know you don't put a cap on your toothpaste because only a synth does that, and you're a synth.
Called out.
I turned my wife in. She didn't put the cap on the toothpaste. Only a synth does that.
That poor woman. Only a synth does that.
What does that? A synth.
So
Adam, go ahead
when
and
you
describe
look
your
at me,
character.
when you look at me, I'm a big dude. Like for a human, I'm a human, a variant human. Super like pale white skin, but like black eyes, long dark brown hair. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm big, but not like fat big. I'm 210 pounds, but it's like muscle, like wearing leather armor. But I've got like a so like on my helmet is kind of like this bear, like the bear head at the top, but it goes back down and like has the full back all the way down to the claws that go over my hand and are like wrapped into my gauntlets. On my left arm, I don't have the claw go all the way down because I've got a shield on my left arm, and then I've got my spear in my left hand, and I always kind of carry the two together. And then the only thing on me that's any sort of like ornate is I've got this fossilized oak leaf on a necklace that I hang from my necklace, and then I've got the stone symbol for the Adventure Guild hanging off my left shoulder pad, and the other ornate thing is on my staff. There's just some like, it's not, you can tell that it's not like, it's not magical. It doesn't give off any magical vibe, but it's just like some runes, some writing dedicated to Sylvanas on my spear that kind of goes down the shaft of the spear. That's it.
I did forget I do have a stone. I just have it as a necklace.
Yeah, he has a necklace.
Yeah, I just kind of have like the stone symbol woven into my shoulder pad.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, as Alexander's character makes his way down, Elizabeth comes back from the back room with a small little medium-sized map that has a very, very detailed bird's-eye view of the inner Amanity, which is completely circular and is split into 4 districts. And she kind of lays it out for you after you examine the very cookie-cutter adventurer who would just walk down the steps very heavily. And she goes, "So you were looking for a weaponsmith, correct?"
Yeah, just need to pick myself up a scimitar before deciding to pick up on a quest.
So she's kind of like running her finger across the map, kind of looking real quick. She's like, "There's a lot of weaponsmiths in town, but they're all very independent. If you want to go to something very trustworthy, the best place you would like to go to is the Stockade. It's the kind of your general. They make the weapons for the Initial Guard and also for the Whiteflame regime. They do all the ironwork in the city for the most part, and they're very trustworthy. Nothing too flashy or crazy, but they have, if it's iron you need, is what they have."
Okay. This is called what again? The Stockade?
The Stockade.
And which part of the city is this in? Or sorry, which part of the city is this in?
So she's like, "We are right at the border. So we are currently in the residential district. If you move to the left, you will be entering the more noble district, still open to the public, but this is kind of where all the nobles and guards kind of stay. And the Stockade, you're just gonna," and she kind of maps out a route that you memorize. She's like, "And then you will be able to find the Stockade right here. It's very, very big. You cannot miss it."
All right. At this point, has Alexander's character gone and sat down?
I don't know. Has he?
He's probably gone up to look at the quest board.
Okay. Yep. So
All right. Then I'll turn to Elizabeth and be like, so best breakfast always starts off with a pint of ale.
she goes, "Ah, yes, of course. I remember your entry into the Adventurers Guild gets you your first breakfast for free. I will go ahead and let Brakbar know to prepare a meal for you." And you see her. She says she's gonna let him know, but she simply just turns to her and she goes, "Brakbar!" And you see this half orc who's like carrying like pitchers and stuff, kind of like shakes a little bit. He goes, "Oh, yes, ma'am." She goes, "Please, bring around a free breakfast for the young gentleman here."
And a pint of ale.
And he goes, "Oh, of course." And he kind of like starts he lays down the pitchers to the two humans that he brought the waters to, and quickly starts kind of like not sprinting but jogging very quickly back into the kitchen.
All right. After he
And
leaves, I'm gonna go walk over to the quest board too.
okay, so you go ahead and walk over to the quest board, and you guys are just examining. I'm assuming the stone request.
I'm gonna move my spear into my left hand, so like my sword and my spear are in the same hand, and then just kind of pat him on the back as I walk by.
Okay.
Kind of just jerks forward a bit. Well, how you doing today, good sir? You having a fun time looking at these adventure boards here?
It's my first day. Name's Grimgore, and I hold my hand out.
Looks down at the hand, a little confused. Oh yeah, that thing. Reaches out, shakes it a bit, and has a pretty good firm grip. Well,
I've got a pretty firm grip too, by the way.
I was gonna say you noticed that that his hand is actually like very cold, very cold, unusually cold.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, go ahead.
I tend to be called Franks from time to time, so if you want to call me that, you're more than welcome. I've been called
Frank,
worse. I've been called better.
All right, I'll call you Frank.
Okay, well, you can leave off the if you like.
So as you guys are kind of mingling with yourselves and just kind of generally like eyeing the board and seeing what's up there, another man comes out from the second floor bedrooms. An older gentleman who kind of wears the face of a tired person, someone who's seems like no matter how much sleep he gets, he always has a worn look on his face. And he makes his way down the stairs very slowly. And go ahead and introduce yourself, David.
Yeah, so he is a really pretty small kind of guy. He's about 5'8". He's pretty slender, but you can tell that he's seen a lot of days of hard work in his life. He's very clearly fit, but he doesn't necessarily seem to know exactly why he's there. Or really have a lot of purpose behind the steps that he's taking. So I come on down the stairs. Appearance. He's got just kind of shaggy brown hair, but it's covered by a little fur hat. The ones that like come down by your ears and have a little like fur brim.
So like your Russian hat.
Yeah, sort of like that. But you do manage to catch a quick glimpse of a little scar just above his right eyebrow. So he meanders down the stairs, and so Brackbard just went into the back.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he just went into the back.
Okay. Well, I walk on over to Elizabeth and say,
He made a fart sound with his hands.
About to get real
so
small.
Elizabeth,
okay.
I suppose I should understand just a little bit more about how things are run here. This is, after all, just my first day. I am looking for work, and you said that there are quests posted. How do I go about joining one of these quests or setting out for a bounty?
Ah, yes, of course. So as you know, we have our requests split by ranking. With you being stone, all you would have to do is go to the board of requests and just look under the stone plate up on the board, and those are all the requests you can take. Simply just take one, bring it back to me, and I'll go ahead and mark it in our books that you were on that quest and it has been taken. There seems to be a few adventurers that are already eyeing some, so maybe you would be interested in maybe forming a party with you, being new to the area and everything.
Yes, that might be a welcome addition. It would be nice to have some others that are familiar with the system to set out with.
She nods, and Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was
No,
gonna say,
go ahead.
as she nods and you guys are kind of like talking, she's kind of explaining.
Oh, you went robot for me. Sorry, what was that?
Oh, I roboted.
You
Yeah,
were fine for me, just David said.
it's
It's
probably
okay.
my connection.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, as you guys are talking and exchanging, um, another individual begins to make their way downstairs.
Swear to God, if it's a
Very
gnome.
light-footed. All three of you almost don't even realize that he's coming down with how light his footsteps are.
I
And
actually have a pretty high passive perception of 14.
roll me perception check.
No, the passive perception is 14, so we would have to be doing a stealth check to not.
Can you have him? Can you have him do a perception check anyway for something else I have in mind?
Jesus. Okay, go ahead.
Guess what, boys? We rolled 2 natty 20s. Let's go.
Okay, so like everyone else in the room didn't hear this gentleman coming down, but with Grimgor's trained ear, he notices the footsteps are very, very light and turns towards the individual. And Frenchie, introduce your character.
You see coming down the stairs. You see this surprise a human. Kind of average looking Joe. You know, he's like 5'11" or something. A young kid though. Not super young, but like, you know, just entered. Maybe, you know, coincidentally just happens to be around the age of 18 or something, like that old or something. If he was in an alternative dimension, he'd play soccer. He's got some nice legs. But he doesn't look very strong up above. But he looks like he could be pretty nimble, you know? Brown hair,
Jack
green
be nimble,
eyes,
Jack be quick.
white skin. You can see in his eyes, it looks kind of like he's lost and also has an insane amount of PTSD at the same time. This kid does not look like he knows what he's doing or where he's at whatsoever.
In life or just like currently?
Just I mean, I guess currently, but currently is his life, so everything. It just looks like he's been through a lot, like recently. Who knows?
Yeah.
And you notice that Adam definitely noticed that he smells a bit. Like he hasn't showered after doing lots of physical activity or something. Oh, and he has some leftover paint on him. That's gold and black. Kind of like worn off a bit, but
Yeah,
first kid probably needs a shower.
yeah, the paint is it's almost like a sleeve tattoo, like on both of his arms and a little bit on his face. That's what he has.
And I have a skinning knife on me in a pouch, or on a sheath.
And Willard and Franks have not noticed him, but Grimgor has, and he's kind of and the character is kind of making his way down. And he's kind of just like looking around, and is just he does seem very, very lost.
You seem lost, friend. Can I help you out? I'm just gonna yell it, like, cause like just without even looking up towards him. Like I would just be looking back at the board and say it.
Okay.
I'm fine, I guess. Thank you. I'm okay. I just need to talk to her again. And I like point at
Elizabeth.
the lady behind the counter.
Oh, Elizabeth goes, oh, yes, of course. If you have any questions, please do.
Well, I thought she was talking to David.
Oh, she was. Well, yeah, she turns to you.
we finished our shit.
Okay. So, so Willard's still there, but they kind of finished their exchange. So she kind of like waves you over.
I don't write
yes,
down
it's fine,
names.
please.
Hold on.
And I go over and I ask, I kind of go and I go, well, I need some breakfast. I'm not sure how to go about getting that.
Don't worry. Your letter gives you a free breakfast for this morning. I will go ahead and let Brackbar know once he returns.
Great. And I believe I am in need of a wash. Tell me where to go to wash up.
Yes. And she kind of pulls the map that she had out for Grimgor before, and she maps out a trail that's in the residential district that you're in right now. And she goes, we do not have a bath here, but we do have a bathhouse that you can go to that you can clean yourself up if needed.
Great. Thank you. And I guess I should look at those things. I point towards the notice board.
She goes, yes, everything under stone plate you are allowed to take.
All right, perfect. Thank you. And I go walk over to the board now.
As he comes
Okay.
over, I'm gonna be like, "So what's your name?" To you, Frenchie.
Me?
No,
Um,
the stocky one that I already asked what his name was.
Oh, my name's Frank. Thanks for asking again.
Oh yeah, and I went on over as well.
I chuckled, but it's kind of a depressed chuckle.
While Frenchie was talking to Elizabeth, wander on over there.
Alex, how many quests are on the quest board in the stone section?
Okay, as David's character moves over, you notice that there's surprisingly a low amount of quests like across the board. The only quests that actually seem to be up right now are for stone, copper, and iron. There's about 3 quests for stone right now.
I'm gonna take the first one and just start walking over to Elizabeth.
You're gonna take the. You're not
Yeah,
even
I'm not even gonna
what
look
they
at it. I'm
say?
just gonna grab the first one.
Okay, so you take the first one, you bring it over.
As I walk over, I'm gonna look at it though.
Okay, so as you're walking over, you just take the first one and without glancing, but you look at it, and the quest. So in all capitals at the very top, you see it says escort, and it says traveling from Wells Fargen to
Wells Fargo?
Wells Fargen. And I'll put the. I'll go ahead and let me put the. I'll put the details of the quest here in the chat, but basically that way you can write it down. This is the quest that you picked up. So it's escort. It's traveling from Wells Fargen to Summerhold, bringing herbs and potions to Summerhold. It is a request by a man named Arrow O'Laren, or O'Loren is what I meant to say. He's a young male elf, 16, and the reward is 16 gold pieces and a set of healing potions.
Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn around, not not turn around and go back to the thing, but like just like turn around and be like, you 3 look a little bit lost. You have anything better to do? And I just hold up the quest. I'm like, you guys got anything better to do?
Well, I guess that's kind of subjective, but I didn't have anything planned.
And this time I'm actually gonna be like, all right, so let's see. Is it just in common?
The request?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm be like, let's see, and I kind of like pull it back a little bit. You can tell that reading isn't my forte.
You're like, yeah.
It says escort traveling from Wells Fargent to Summerhold, bringing herbs and potions to Summerhold. Request by Arrow O'Loren. Reward 16 gold pieces, a set of healing potions.
Well, I know where that 0 stat went.
Like, not only is my 0 stat in intelligence, but I come from, like, barbarians, and we don't really care too much about reading and writing.
I thought you were so excited to do something that actually did have intelligence for once.
He's smart. He's just not good. He's just not good at reading. Like, he's not Krusk dumb. He just can't read well.
He's wise. He's not smart.
He's very wise.
Also, while Grimgor is reading this, Brakbar kind of comes back out with a.
Does he have my food?
Yeah, and he kind of just places it on the table.
What's on the plate?
What's on the plate? You have kind of like an oatmeal, like a just an oatmeal bowl of like various nutrients and oats and things like that. A tall glass of you said ale, right?
I said a pint of ale is what I wanted.
Or a pint of ale, yeah, pint of ale, and an apple.
I'm gonna eat the apple like super fast.
Well, you gotta get there first.
All right, sorry.
Can't just, you know.
Can I get another one, Grimble? Or Brakbar.
And he's kind of like, oh yes, of course. And Elizabeth's like, just bring 2 more out. We have new adventurers here. And he goes,
Watermelon.
Just 2? None. There's three.
No,
of us.
because she brought one for you, and then
Oh no,
David asked, and then or I'm sorry, Willard asked for one, and then she was like, "Yeah, bring 2 more out also for."
Oh, none for me. I'm good. I already had a snack up in my room. I do appreciate the thoughts, though.
Oh, are you sure? Breakfast is very important.
Like I said, I had it in my room. I did that while getting...
Back where I come from, one of the wisest of elders had once told me that breakfast is the most important meal of the day and should be served Gary's way.
Well, I don't know who Gary is, but okay, bring one more.
He was the pet of the wise man.
Water no ale.
Wait, so we
much
have
of a drink?
to. So I'm still kind of looking at this quest. I'm gonna walk over to the table. I'm just gonna grab the apple and the ale.
Okay.
So
And
I'm
Black
gonna
makes his way
set
back into the
set
kitchen.
my spear down on the table because I only have 2 hands. So I'm gonna set the spear down. I'm gonna grab the apple with my left hand while also holding the paper in my left hand, and then grab the ale with my right hand. Smash the ale, like just Gimli smash that ale. Set the pint down upside down. Throw the apple to my other hand. Walk over to her, like take a bite, and be like, "So Elizabeth, it
Yes.
says from Welsfargen to Summerhold, so we have to get to Welsfargen and then go to Summerhold."
Yes.
Do you have a world map?
I do have a world map actually. You want me to repost it?
Maybe. Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
scroll
Let
up
me
and
go
find it
back
easy.
into the chat and I'll pull
Yeah,
up the
because it's
world.
not in the
Because
in the
this is
chat
actually-
chat.
this
It's
is-
in the.
Yeah, this is an outer amenity. So let me see. It's so hard to find our Discord now because the picture keeps changing. Okay, where did I post it?
Yeah, but it's so much fun for people now.
Yeah.
Literally everyone's given up on the picture changing. Just FYI.
I know it's like just Bryce now.
Yeah, and every once in a while someone else does it.
Okay, so there's the world map. She goes. Welsfargen and Summerhold are in the southern part of Outer Amenity.
By the
So
fringes.
looking at my brandish map, Welsfargen would be about say like halfway above where the letter N in Amenity is.
Which one? The outer Amenity?
Yeah, Outer Amenity. It's right above the N,
Okay.
or halfway above the N, and Summerhold is about to where the first M in Amenity is. So that's
Okay.
the distance. So it's a shorter distance to Welsfargen and then a long distance to Summerhold.
Is it true that it gets hot in the south?
It's more of a spring-like weather. It's very warm, but the wind helps keeps the farmers and everything cool out there. They prefer the climate out there. It's good for the crops and the labor that gets put out there.
Hey, Mr. Thighs, what's your name?
Me?
Yeah.
I am Ukugla Says of the Says tribe.
1 second. What?
Oh my god!
I don't know.
Ukuglo says.
Ukugla Says.
I'm gonna need you to spell that.
No.
I'll just post it in chat.
Ook.
Oh yeah, I forgot. It's the random Ukugla says.
It's a random generated name.
This was generated by Roll20, and he just went with it.
I'll be rolling all my rolls in that roll 20 until I find my dice, by the way.
I don't have dice, so
You can go into the roll 20 that you're always in permanently.
Yeah, the
and roll
permanent
in
and
that.
fix it. You can fix that Roll20 by going into
I don't.
it.
No, I go in and out. It doesn't change anything.
That's what she said.
Damn.
Adam!
All right, so we got Says, Frank, and Willard.
How do you spell Willard?
Willard.
And my name is Grimgor Tallstag,
Yeah, I don't care.
chieftain of the Bear Tribe.
As
the bear tribe.
Elizabeth is standing and watching the scene unfold.
Wait just a second.
I called
The
dibs
Bear
on Tribe of the
Tribe.
Bear, yeah.
Can I hear the names again of everybody real quick?
Okay, I'm gonna post everyone's name. Okay, at least how they were introduced. So you
I
have
wasn't ready to type it yet.
Franks,
Frank.
Willard, and Grimgor.
That's fine.
Franks.
Why'd you say something about the Bear Tribe, David?
No reason.
Or, sorry, you have a problem with the Bear Tribe, Willard?
Oh, Willard didn't say anything about. Oh wait,
You said
Yeah.
I said it, and you just said
No.
bear tribe. So I assumed you.
No, he was talking out of
Yeah,
character.
yeah. No, that was just like a like short inquisitive. Oh, wait, what? I'm noticing. Oh,
Well, I don't even know if I should really call it the bear tribe since we're the only solar ice cap barbarian tribe left. So chieftain of the, I don't know, pit barbarians now, since that's what we call where we live. Anyway, you three interested in going to Wells Fargen to Summerhold? I've got nothing better to do, and I need
I
to start
suppose
expanding my strength.
it looks like I'll be here for a little bit, so it'd be nice to make some acquaintances.
I'd like to clean up first after breakfast, but then I'd be down to go. Yeah.
Well, I need to go pick up myself a scimitar, and I also kind of want to walk around the city a bit if anyone wants to join me.
I'd be a little curious to try to find a bit more information about some of this quest. See if there's anything in the region besides what's going on. Maybe they can do more than one quest at a time.
I guess we could look at the other two that were up there for the stone.
Well, I'll just ask around town, see if there's anything else going on. Maybe it hasn't been put up on the board while you guys are doing your town stuff. He's cleaning up, you'll getting that scimitar, things like that.
Real quick, before you walk off, I'm gonna go ahead and walk to the thing and make sure the other two aren't in a similar area.
Okay. Is that all you're just looking for to see if like? Because I know you can't read, so are you just looking for the same name on those quests?
Yeah, I'm looking for Wells Fargen or Summerhold because like I can read, but at like a 3rd grade level.
You do not see Wells Fargen or Summerhold on the other two requests.
Can I actually read them?
You want to? Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So Ook
He
goes
didn't
ahead
write
and,
them down,
walks
did he?
up to the board, and I'm gonna. So he examines both of them. This is the second quest that I'll post up. So in all capitals, you see investigation, looking for a friend in inner humanity. Young boy named Joseph, age of 13, is currently missing, requested by Mother Am. The reward is 20 gold pieces.
What's the third one?
And the third one here, let's see. In all capitals, you see aid. Small town requires farmhands. Needing a small party for labor assistance in Rakengard. Requested by Baron Verdurdisk. The reward is a Baron's lockbox.
Loot boxes? Come on, EA.
Nothing details within the lockbox.
I mean, we could look for that kid. How big is Inner Humanity? Like,
Inner
is that just
Humanity-
this like city, or is it much
Inner
more than
Humanity
just the city?
is all 4 districts inside the wall. So Inner Humanity is like entirely just a city. It's filled to the brim with buildings. And then Outer Humanity is more of your grasslands, your villages, your small towns.
If you had to give me like square mileage,
It's like the average size of like a capital city in the U.S.
Phoenix?
so like a Phoenix, so like, okay, but it's like city
Chicago.
sized because I'm just
Yes,
looking at
it's
your map,
city-sized.
right? And it's like that big. Well, then is this just a small world?
Sorry, Inner Humanity is actually smaller than that.
Like
it was a very rough
way
sketch.
smaller.
Yeah, it's way smaller. Imagine it as just a larger than average city.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah, I know the Inner Humanity map isn't. I just kind of did a general like, hey, it's in the center, you know. and
Map
Outer
not
Humanity-
drawn to scale.
Okay.
Yeah, not drawn to scale.
Well, I guess we could actually look for Joseph before we leave Humanity.
I can go ahead and get a start on that and then see how we do.
Yeah, that might be
Hey, Willard,
worth a look.
what do you think?
Sure. I'd be very glad to go out and explore a little bit with you. I'm new to the area.
Same. I've never actually yesterday was my first time within Humanity walls. I've lived my whole life on the fringes. Or in
As
the
have
solar
I.
ice cap.
As have I. What part?
Northern solar ice cap.
I spent some time doing diplomatic work with barbarians up north.
Would I know this, Alex?
No, you do not. No, it's not barbarians that you know.
Hmm.
They're not. But they weren't barbarians or anything inside the solar ice caps. They were just like people outside of the law. in the
No,
fringes.
not like necessarily a tribe, just wandering barbarians
Yeah.
from the past.
Lone wandering barbarians.
You got to be careful with those other barbarians. Weak-willed, pathetic traitors.
Willard will remember that.
Willard did not like that.
Everyone disliked that.
Everyone disliked that.
So as
So I'm gonna go ahead and
kinda...
pluck off the investigation quest too.
Okay. So as Elizabeth is waiting for you, Brackbar goes ahead and brings out the 3 breakfasts. It's the same breakfast that Grimgor had, all 3 of them, except without the alcohol.
I'm gonna swipe their
places them
apples.
You guys
I'm
gonna let us
swipe.
swipe your
By the way,
apples?
I'm not touching my oatmeal. I'm leaving the oatmeal and I'm swiping another apple.
down. Okay.
I don't care whose it is. I'm just swiping one of the apples.
So Grimgor is making his way to go take everyone's apples.
just want the apples, man.
Whatever.
Oh, actually, Alex, did we write that out of the backstory or not? Because I actually can't remember.
Not I guess we never specifically said it was barbarians, but basically you worked with a whole lot of different people, so it's like, well, we can just put it in there. It makes sense.
Okay.
We didn't specifically write it in, but I can see it because there are rogue barbarians out in the fringes, as Grimgor would know.
They have a
there
high
are
dex.
definitely outlandish barbarians.
Who has a high dex?
Rogue barbarians.
Ha 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 ha.
Is this pen seriously not working?
Yeah. So if none of you stop me, I'm swiping your apples, David or Willard and Ukuglas. I'm gonna call you Says.
I basically just figure that I have enough with just the oats, so I'm not going to make any enemies on the first
Oh,
day.
and I pour half my oatmeal in yours and half my oatmeal in Frenchie's, but I take the apples.
I'm fine with that trade,
I
honestly.
look at it, I'm like, I shrug for a second, then just go on eating.
I kind of stare at the oatmeal. I'm like,
Give me
Alright.
1 second while you guys are communicating. I'm gonna get another pen.
I poke the oatmeal with my spoon. I'm like,
Frank, come here for a
what
moment.
is this?
Frank looks kind of confused by the exchange. Like he's really, this is interesting. What can I do for you there, Grimgar?
So, I mean, unless someone else objects, I guess we're gonna be a party for the time being.
That sounds like kind of fun thing. Do we have to wear hats?
I'm not taking this off, and I point to the bear on my head.
Well, like, cause I don't have one, but I know he has one, and you have like, a thing we have to do.
No, you don't have to wear a hat if you.
I have
Alright.
a helmet.
Are you? I'm gonna insight check you.
Okay.
I'm just gonna roll an insight check just to see what I think about you. What's insight? Wisdom?
Insight.
That's
It's
a 22. That's a
Wait,
22
hold on, wait,
insight
hold on.
check.
What are you
What were
inciting?
you
Like
inciting
just
about?
like if you're actually this dumb, or if you're just like, or not dumb, but you know what I mean. Like if you're actually this like naive, or if this
Yes.
is like this is like a
Yes,
ploy.
he is.
You
Yeah,
get- you get
he is
definite sense of-
genuinely saying these remarks. He is not playing it off. This is his legit thinking process.
Yeah, he is not trying to like pull one over on you. He's not trying to be
Yeah.
amusing. He's genuinely thinking these things as if they're real questions about the world.
Were you sheltered, like hidden off?
Yeah,
from
we
other
all were
people?
last night. We got that roof up there. That's shelter, right?
Were you? Are you new to being around people, Frank?
Oh, very much so. Yes. Well, I mean, not new to being around people, but being around people in the sense that I'm doing what I want around people, not just being people around. Because we're always around people.
How old
Because
are
I
you?
mean, that's kind of hard to discern, honestly. Let's see. Do you include the first time I woke up as being like my first day or something like that?
I'm done with you. And I'm like, all right. So what about these quests? So we've got one to go find Joseph, who you just purposefully spelt it wrong to try and be edgy.
No, that's his name, Joseph. I didn't spell it. Mother I am did. That's
And then we have this other one for Arrow that will take us outside to Wells, Virginia, and I kind of point to where it's on the map.
All right, that seems like a fun bit of time. I'd like to go ahead and start searching for the boy. I do have a bit of a methodical method of searching for things. Um,
I
You
feel
should.
like you shouldn't go off on your own.
why is that?
I just have a feeling you'll get very distracted.
Might I recommend asking the boy's mother? Maybe she knows. And I point to Elizabeth, where the
Yeah, well,
mother
obviously
lives.
Oh,
we're gonna go
yeah.
to Elizabeth once we've decided to accept these quests.
She's like, and you see her, she's kind of just like standing with her eyes closed with a smile, like that patient smile that, like kind of like a secretary or like a teller does, where like they're just kind of waiting patiently. And it's a face that they have to wear, is what she's doing. She's not like tired of you guys, but she's definitely just patiently waiting for you guys to finish.
So,
I gotta sit down and eat breakfast.
Okay.
well, since you're not eating, Frank, you want to come up there to Elizabeth with me?
That sounds like a great plan. Let's go ahead and do that.
I'll do the
That one's
talking.
Elizabeth, right?
I'll do the talking. Not that I'm very charismatic, but so I
So have you
guess.
two made a decision?
So it looks like we're gonna form up a party, the four of us, and we're gonna go ahead and take these 2 quests on.
He's gonna do the talking.
Well, unfortunately, with our rules in the Adventurers Guild, a party is not allowed to take 2 quests at a time. But I would recommend, if you can, it doesn't seem like these requests are very popular. So if you were to complete one of them, I think you could come back and I could possibly hold one of these quests for you. She says that slyly, and it was in a tone that wasn't her typical, oh, I'm the Adventurers Guild, like, front man or front woman type of voice. It's definitely kind of like under the low. She's like, I can hold one of these quests for you. Wink.
Now, Alex, this is a question to you as a GM, because I want to make sure I remember this properly. I've been given permission to use magic within the walls of Humanity, right?
If you need to, yes.
I have been given permission to use magic inside of walls. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you, since it looks like you're willing to break the rules anyway, maybe you go ahead and just let us take these 2. One's in Humanity. It'll take no longer than a day.
She goes,
Persuasion roll.
yeah, give me a persuasion roll on that.
All right.
Why would Frenchie close one panel?
Oof. 10. Only a 10.
She goes, I'm willing to pull a few strings for you individuals, but I cannot go that far, unfortunately.
I'm gonna cast Charm Person.
Oh,
Okay, what do I have to do for that?
You have to make a Wisdom save of a 14 or higher.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're charmed by me for 1 hour.
But doesn't she know she's charmed?
Oh, that's a 10. It works.
All right. Oh yeah, she'll know she's charmed when the effect ends.
Okay, so she's charmed.
So, it's charming me until the spell ends or until you or your companions do anything harmful. Regard you as a friendly acquaintance. When the spell ends, the creature knows it was charmed by you. So now she is much more charmed by me. Are you sure you can't just? I hate to do this, but are you sure you can't just? Which I'm gonna say I hate to do this as I'm casting the spell, and then be like, because that's gonna be my vocal for charm person, by the way. And then
Okay.
Alexander already rolling his head.
I hate to do this.
But you should just go ahead and let us take these 2 quests. It's not gonna hurt anyone. There's no other stone people here wanting these jobs.
there's
So
no
she
other
kind of
stoners here.
like under a haze, and she goes, "Oh, she's like, I guess it wouldn't be too much since these quests would probably gonna be taken anyway." So she takes the 2 requests and she stamps them, and she goes ahead and writes down in a little book of hers, and she takes the quests and puts them underneath her desk, and she goes, "Okay, so how can I? So, I'm assuming you're going to be wanting to do the investigation quest first."
Yes, ma'am. Could you show us where Mother Om is on the map?
Yes, of course. She has given me her address, and she kind of maps out. It's in the residential
Is Mother
district.
Om like a? Is it Mother a title, like being like working at a church or something similar to sister, or is it just the mother named Om?
She kind of like gives like a shrug. She's like, "That's just the name that she put under the request. I have not met the woman."
Hey, says Willard. Either you guys good at writing?
I'm all right. Not excellent.
I'm not bad. I mean, I've read it before.
I'm quite proficient at dictation.
You'll work just fine, Frank. Can you write a note?
Yeah, I can write a note.
That says, "I'm very sorry for what I did. but I really didn't want the hassle of having to run back here to complete 2 quests. Just write that down for me.
As he takes the ink and the parchment out, he actually does it like quickly tapping dots on the page to make the letters.
Wait, what are you writing down? I'm sorry.
It just says, I'm terribly sorry for what I did, but we just wanted to grab these 2 quests and not have to come back.
He's apologizing to Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Through a note.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And so he writes it like a dot matrix printer.
Okay.
I love that.
And she,
And then
she also
I
shows
fold
you-
I
shows
fold
you
up
on
the
map.
note. I fold up the
Okay.
note and I hand it to Elizabeth and say, "In 1 hour, I want you to open this."
She goes,
Or actually, in 59 minutes, I want you to open this. So she opens it. So she'll still be charmed and open it and actually follow the command rather than wait for her to.
she kind of looks at it, she goes, that's a strange request, but sure it wouldn't cause me any trouble. And she puts it in like her back pocket. And then she goes ahead and pulls up the map and she shows you. She's like, so this is where Mother M's going to be located. She's in the residential district, not too far from here. Should just be a couple minutes of a walk.
All right, we can do this, and I can get my scimitar before we leave if we're gonna stay in the city.
Very well.
So she already has stamped the both requests and she has them in her lockbox now. So you guys have been officially officially accepted both quests according to the Adventurers Guild.
All right. Do we gotta put down a name on them, or is it just we just take them and they're ours?
No, I have you written down in the books. You are free to go.
What do you have us written down as?
I just wrote down your names, but would you like a name for your group?
Maybe later.
Okay. She kind of gives a nod.
She writes maybe later.
That shows us nomenclature. Maybe later. That's now our
Tez
party name.
is
I don't care what
kind
you
of
say.
still eating.
Wait, did you just say that's our party name, Alexander?
Yep. I don't care what you say.
Does she actually write down maybe later?
Since she's charmed, she pulls out the piece of paper again. And writes it down. But since you can't read, you don't even see what you don't even know what the heck she's writing. So she writes it down. She puts it away.
Hey, what she just write down, guys?
Oh, she wrote down that name you gave her. It was quite catchy, if you ask me.
Well,
I'm glad
And
you
you see her. She has like a warm smile on her face with her eyes closed still, as she's supposed to do.
I'm glad you're the one who did the talking. I couldn't have come up with something like that.
oh man, I've made a few mistakes in my life. One of them was attacking humanity. The second highest mistake was what I just did.
So as you guys are kind of like, talking and everything, that you hear like a loud, like you start hearing kind of a loud commotion outside. You hear not only like people almost yelling and talking very, very loudly, but you hear the sounds of a lot of people walking in one direction, a lot of steps, almost to the point where like the building is almost shaking a little bit.
My curiosity, I go ahead and peek my head out the front door just to see where the sounds come from.
Okay, so you go ahead and walk over to the front door. And you like look. You open the door to kind of take a peek, and you see like a crowd of people, like walking very quickly, and some people jogging in one direction. It seems like it's towards the castle. All just a flood of people are starting to just move down. You hear a lot of yelling and incoherent like speaking. Mothers like grabbing their children and running in a direction. It doesn't seem like they're panicked, but it seems like something's really grabbed people's attention.
Mm-hmm. Hey guys, it looks like there might be something going on outside. Would you guys care to investigate?
What do we care about more, these quests we just accepted or this commotion?
Well, they could be related. I mean, you got 13-year-old boy running loose in the city. He sees the commotion. He might want to see. Well, I wonder what's going on.
What do you think, Says?
I would like to, as I'm eating my oatmeal, I'm like to finish this, and I can grab my gear, and we can.
What's the half orc's name? Again.
Brackbar.
Brackbar, grab his stuff. He's done.
Oh, yes, of course. And he kind of like rushes out of the kitchen and starts gathering everything.
And I purposefully point at Sez, so he'll grab Sez's food that he's still eating so we can move faster.
He walks over and he's about to take the oatmeal and he waits a second. He's like,
Just
are
take
you finished
it!
with that?
Just
What?
take it!
He's
I'm not done
it.
though. I want to finish it.
Just take it!
Don't, leave it,
Sez,
please.
we're moving. Come on,
Adam,
let's
roll
go.
intimidation check.
All right, this die has never failed me.
It failed him.
It's over.
That is a 14.
Yep, he gets scared and takes the oatmeal and runs quickly back into the kitchen.
Oh.
Says disliked that.
Some more depression goes into my eyes.
Poor lad is tired, man. Give him a break.
I like to get up slowly and walk to my room.
Okay. So Says goes ahead and makes his way up to his room and grabs his gear. What specifically do you grab?
Not the overall things, because those are weird, but like I'm assuming I had like leather armor. Right?
Yeah, you have your
Yeah,
your
I have my armor, and I grab my longbow, and I have my knife. Do I? Does the helmet is it more ceremonial or is it actually functional?
I mean, it's a leather helmet. I mean, it'll protect you from what leather will protect you. It's thick, but you know, it's not going to protect you from like an arrow piercing you or anything like that.
Yeah, that's true. I'll take it with me anyway.
I mean, it'll soften a bludgeoning blow. You
Well,
know,
I won't like put it on, but I'll carry it with me.
While he's up there,
Okay.
I'm gonna turn to Willard and
And I grab my quiver,
Frank.
of course.
I'm gonna turn to Willard and Frank and be like, so what are you guys proficient in? So, you know, like myself, I use magic and this spear here. What do you guys use if we're gonna get into a combat scenario?
Found my dice.
nice.
I'm a bit of a fighter. I like to stab things very quickly. I just brush off my cloak just a little bit so I can show my 2 daggers at my hips.
And you, Frank, what do you do?
I'm a ranged weapon specialist. You see 0 ranged weapons on him.
So,
You know,
So
Frank,
you're-
you always surprise me.
so you say that you can use magic within the walls. Have you been given permission by the pillars?
Yes,
I've
I
been
have.
given permission
Oh,
by
him, yeah.
Austin himself. Actually, I've been more so given an order by Austin to use it within the walls.
Uh-huh. I see.
And Frank did say that. He's like, "Oh yeah, I have." No, I mean you mean him. Yeah, him too.
Yeah, and I kind of just give you a glancing blow or like a glancing look, and I'm just like, yeah, this guy's there's more to him, but I
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready to move out?
You definitely take that as a sign of like, okay, this person's actually probably like really important at the moment. Like, you know, to not only be decreed by a pillar, but also by the king himself. You know, it's you definitely take note of that.
Are we ready to head out?
I am.
Says
I'm gonna try
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right at the front door, and I'm gonna try to get someone's attention who's walking past the stream of flow of people and start asking them what's going on.
Okay.
Do an investigation check.
So as go ahead and do that roll. Saz is making his way downstairs.
Can I do an insight check to just see if I can discern whether it is more like they're running from or they're going towards some event?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
19
19? Okay.
investigation, just trying to figure out what's going on.
Yep, and David, go ahead and do your roll.
1d20. Oh, hold on. I forgot how to type for a second.
The D is next to S.
No. I got a 2.
Yeah,
Plus
2.
whatever.
It's a group of people moving in one direction.
Yep.
About all you can discern.
one direction.
Frank's. As he opens the door, he kind of just like looks around very
Just grabs
robotically,
one out of
and then,
the
like,
row.
literally grabs someone. Like he grabs a lady firmly, but not like in a way to hurt her. He has more control in that. He grabs her, and she kind of like she's like whoa. She's like yes, like she's like stunned. She's like,
So, what you guys going off to that way? Seems kind of interesting. I'd like to know as much as you know about it.
oh, well, thank you for not hurting me. Apparently the pillars of amenity are leaving the kingdom.
Well, that seems troublesome.
She's like, yes, they're making an official announcement, and they're all going to be leaving. Everyone's moving to witness them, all move at once. Not many people have been able to see all 5 of the pillars in one area at one time.
Well, boys, let's get moving.
Hey guys.
Does that include
I mean, I was standing with you because I was just talking to you about what you do.
I know, but he's just yelling
Yeah.
back to everyone.
I can't remember. Was it? It started with a J, right?
Jonah?
Are you talking about the pillar that you got
Yeah.
involved with? It was Sebastian. Sebastian Emerson.
That's right.
Well,
Is,
if
is
the
that what
pillars
you
are...
ask her?
Yeah.
I say,
Yeah,
I
I
remember.
asked if he's also announcing that he's leaving.
She's like, from what the town criers have been saying, apparently all of the pillars are going to be leaving on a mission.
And be like, well, guys, we need to get moving that way. Although, I think we should be a little bit more inconspicuous. And so I step back in the door, kind of out of the side of that lady, but not out of the not trying to hide from the people inside of the Adventurers Guild. I'm just turn into a mastiff. I'm gonna shapeshift into a mastiff.
You're gonna shave it? Okay. The dog, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's like a big dog.
And I let it go, and I'm very sorry for keeping you. We're gonna go ahead and tag along ourselves. Thank
She's
you
like,
for the information.
she's like, yes, of course.
And then she just sees
happy
this
to
huge
assist you.
mastiff just come around the corner.
She just starts booking it away again. She starts going. She's very, very confused.
But you look at it, and it still has like a lot of the same features that I have. So it's big.
Right.
It's got like brown hair, and it's like thick and long, and then it's got like black eyes.
It's gonna do the talking.
And I just kind of like.
What are Willard and Says doing right now?
I just want to go.
Yeah, I'm starting to lead the
waiting
way
on
as a
people to
mastiff
go.
now.
And Says, you got all your stuff, right?
Says is away from his desk. He can hear you, but he can't respond.
He's getting his stuff. Literally, this is role playing. This is LARPing right here, right now.
So Says is acquiring your stuff.
No, he already
Grimgor is
said he
not
was on
after
his
the
way down. He
show.
said he said something.
Yeah, so you guys are kind of waiting inside next to the door closed, and you guys are still seeing this flood of people. Like it's almost never ending. It's still just a lot of people, just walking down the street.
That was probably Alex's mom laughing.
It's not mine.
Not mine. Oh, that's Frenchie's mom.
It's my mom.
Your mom's not there, David. She doesn't love you.
Your mom's not there.
No, she's at work.
So
So I'm a mastiff, guys. I'm a big mastiff.
did you say that in our in character?
Yeah,
No, I
your
can't
stuff.
speak as a dog.
Okay,
Come
you got
on.
your stuff.
Okay, now were you out of sight of the people?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
outside
I was
the-
out of the
That's
side
right.
of the lady and the people, but not like the other adventurers inside because they already know I can.
Okay.
Yeah, Grimgor has already shown off what he can do inside of the Adventurers Guild. So. The other adventurers, you notice though, they don't really care. They're kind of still just chilling, just eating.
I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna like, because Mass is big, slobbery. I'm just gonna take a bite out of one of their oatmeal.
The adventurers like, what the what? Why?
Just look at it, just go, and just go to the door.
The guy kind of just like scratches his head and like sits himself back down. He's like, well, now I don't want to eat this. So with that note, you guys, so you're all going to head and start moving into
Oh,
the
yeah.
crowd and follow everyone. So you kind of push yourselves into the crowd.
Yeah,
and
that's
you
part
start
of the
following.
reason I want to be a big mastiff is because it'll kind of like move people out of the way.
Yeah. So yeah, with Grimgor kind of spreading the ocean of the crowd, you guys are still flooded with just people screaming and yelling. You can kind of see some some young boys, like 14-year-olds on like boxes, yelling out with parchment like, "The pillars are leaving! The pillars are leaving!" And like just everyone is just yelling and just like it's crazy. The guards are starting to make their way into the city and kind of guiding everyone where they need to go. People not to get lost. And eventually you guys push yourself into kind of like the city center that is right before the castle. It takes you guys about 15 minutes to
Do we get up to the front?
to get to the castle.
All right, when I get up
in
to the
front of the castle, or I was gonna,
Okay.
in front of the castle, it's a half circle plaza with a fountain in the middle, and you can see that a stage has been put up in front of the fountain. And as you guys make your way to the front, you can see all five of the pillars of humanity are standing up there.
All right, so when I get to the front as this big mastiff, I just want to like sit down, look at Jonah, and just wink at him.
Okay. Also, there's like guards, like of course, like
Yeah, I
cutting
know
off,
there's
like,
still
halfway.
guards,
Yeah,
but
so,
it's
so you make it up to the front, and you kind of wink at Jonah, but you can see that like Jonah's like face what you're normally used to seeing him, he has become very, very focused and very, very stern, and he doesn't pay mind to you at the moment.
All right, then at that point, I'm gonna switch back to being a person, right in the front, in front of all the guards. Just boom, straight back to being a person.
Okay, you see that the guards in front of you first like kind of freak out, and then they remember they're like, oh wait, like we were told about this, and then they just go back to the normal post. Jonah kind of like you see him, he gives you like eye contact, and he like it's an eye contact of like acknowledgement, and then he goes ahead and puts his attention back forward.
Yep.
So he acknowledges that you're there. Is everyone else just kind of just moving up
I'm
as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm maybe looking for like any reading from the crowd about like what they think this is going to mean for the kingdom.
Okay, roll me a perception check.
Okay.
We're gonna
I
try
just
this again.
look. What's the expression on Nobletree's face?
Noble he looks also very stern. All the pillars
Nat
are
one.
very, very focused and stern on
Dude,
something.
stop
Like, they were
using
just-
roll 20.
I have gotten
Wait, what was your roll?
Nat 1.
I'll give
You
a
have no
look
idea what
around.
everyone's talking about.
I'll give a look around too. I'm good at perceiving things. Whoo, that's a 16.
Frenchie, look at how many ones I've rolled in the past 3 rolls.
1, 2, 1.
So Grimgor also kind of like starts to pay attention to the crowd. Oh wait, Alexander's. I'll wait for Alexander to come back.
3, 1, 2.
But
Sorry,
okay,
I had to help my boy out with Breath of the Wild.
no, you're good. Grimgor just did a roll for perception to find out what the crowd's kind of acting like, and these are kind of the similar veins of voices that you're hearing. You're hearing like oh my gosh, the pillars have never left the kingdom before. You hear a couple people saying like, well, who's going to protect us in the case of emergency? And then you hear a couple people like, well, if the pillars are leaving, it must be of a certain a caliber. It's like, are we leaving peace? You're just hearing people just very, very concerned in different kinds of areas.
When I hear the one comment about peace, I kind of mutter to myself. So, like, just kind of out of anger, it was like, oh, so the barbarians were never a threat to you. Like that's kind of what I mutter to myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we were never even a threat to them.
Yeah, and the pillars are just standing kind of patiently. You guys kind of just assume that they're kind of waiting for as many townspeople to gather. That way they can have the announcement spread out to everyone as much as possible. You also notice that the guards that are keeping you guys up front are part of the Amicio Guard. Oh, sorry. Alexander, what'd you miss?
Amicio Guard. He
So,
missed the words Amicio Guard. That's literally all he missed for
That's it.
taking his headset off.
So, you notice that the guards that are kind of holding you guys back right now are the Amicio Guard, which is the Royal Guard, and the first military that existed for the Kingdom of Humanity. They are very, very strong. They're not on par with the Pillars, but they are basically second in line to protect humanity if needed. The guards that were kind of helping people in the streets were part of the Whiteflame regime, which are just the basic military that anyone can get drafted and put into.
Is the Judicator there and all of them too?
Not yet. But you have a feeling that someone from the King's Council is probably going to appear. And I'll go ahead and I'll put these in the chat too. So you have the Amicio Guard, which is the Royal Guard. And then you have the Whiteflame regime, which is your standard military. But yeah, you guys can tell like the Amicio Guard are definitely not people you would mess with. They have a certain aura of discipline about them that even kind of keeps you back. No one's pushing themselves against them. They're kind of just all kind of standing just a little bit apart from them. And as you guys are kind of waiting and kind of seeing what everyone's doing, you see a figure come out from behind the pillars and kind of takes the stage in front of them. And it is let's see. It is a man adorned in what seems to be solid gold armor. And he also wears a helmet that has slits on the face, but are kind of
Spartan-esque.
There's definitely a section to cut off to look through, but it's completely black, so you can't see his face.
Is it like Spartan-esque?
Yes.
Okay.
It's Spartan-like. It has those kinds of slits, and you can't see his face. It's completely shrouded in
Did
darkness.
he always want to be a baker?
No, unfortunately. And he's not wielding a spear either. But he is holding a very,
you guys
very
are roboting for
golden
me.
handled sword that's adorned with various jewels.
What did you just say? You just roboted for the past 10 seconds for
Spartan
me.
mask is what his face looks like,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
this dude has gold armor.
Fully covered in gold plated armor, Spartan-esque helmet with
Okay.
horns that kind of shoot up. But you can't see his face through the slits. It's just
DM, is
completely
this the
shrouded in
Praetor or the Judicator or whoever the one that I butted heads with?
Okay.
Yep. So Grimgor goes ahead and tells you guys, but this guy is someone he has met. This is Judicator Nashen Frostroar. And Grimgor goes ahead and kind of explains that the Judicator is one of the King's Council. And he had a bit of a quarrel with him when he was speaking to the king.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Um,
yeah, that guy. He ain't very nice. He tends to not believe much in people.
Yeah, I forgot. Franks has also encountered him as well. So Franks also gives in his input as well about the Judicator. And you see the Judicator kind of like puts his hands up to kind of like order basically like a quietness, and immediately everyone kind of like mutters down to like a whisper. And the Judicator goes...
When he does that, I'm gonna yell, "You suck."
The Judicator doesn't even pay attention to it.
Dang it! I wanted to get a reaction out of him.
He
You're like, "You
his voice-
suck."
His voice seeming is like very... Once he starts speaking, his voice is very loud. It almost sounds like he's using magic to amplify his voice. And he goes, "Citizens of Amanity, I'm sure you have all been hearing the rumors, but yes, the Pillars of Amanity will be taking on a very, very important quest from the king himself." And everyone kind of like mutters like to themselves, like, you know, what could this possibly mean? That kind of thing. But it's still like in a low whisper. And he goes, "Rest assured, the kingdom will not be left undefended. Along with my men, the Amissial Guard, and the Whiteflame regime, the kingdom of Amanity is at its strongest ever, and we feel that the Pillars are now in a perfect position to handle matters outside of the kingdom that may threaten the peace that we know as the greatest society in Stella. And the Pillars behind them, you notice they are still just like stone cold faced, like they are on duty." And he goes, "The Pillars will be gone for an unsurmounted amount of time, but do know that we will be protecting the kingdom, and that this does not mean we will be leaving peace. We are simply handling matters outside of the kingdom that our adventurers are not able to handle on their own at the moment. If you would all like to make way, the Pillars will be leaving immediately." And the Judicator kind of like, you know, he like thrusts his like cloak, turns around, and
He does
walks
the douche
off of the
turn.
stage. Huh?
He does the douchey turn.
Yeah, he does the douchey turn, flashes his cape, and walks off. And the Pillars all do like a bow. And immediately, like, just a roar of the crowd, everyone applauding and cheering. You see kind of like people like rice getting thrown up in the air and stuff like that. It's kind of weird. With all of you never being in the kingdom, you find it kind of strange that they're celebrating the leaving of their strongest warriors. But you guys still kind of just take it in anyway. So the Pillars go ahead and make their way off stage, and everyone kind of starts parting the sea, essentially, of the crowd. And they all start walking, one behind the other. Jonah, the shortest and youngest of the Pillars of Amanity. I'll go ahead and explain them as they're passing by, too, so you guys can get a good description of all of them. Let me see here. I'm actually going to need to pull this up real quick.
So while he's waiting, any of you that are even noticing, as the Judicator was talking, I was like angrily like clutching onto my spear, like arms bulging and everything. Just no, I do not like him. Let's just put it that way. Like visibly, do not care for him. Similar to the anger, but not quite at the same level. When someone said, when I like kind of muttered, so they don't think that the barbarians were a threat at all.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and describe the Pillars for you guys as they pass by. So the one leading the pack is Jonah Malloy, also known as the Free Spirit. He's the leader of the Pillars and the youngest member, joining at the age of 15. You notice he's a male halfling, with kind of orange hair, and you notice his clothes aren't very outlandish. He's almost wearing like typical, almost common wear, but the half cloak that he wears is adorned with various jewels and expensive fabric and threading. You see to his sides that he has two daggers, one that seems to radiate an enchanted aura, and the other one that seems like it would be used by the Amicio Guard, like a royal dagger. Um, After Jonah, you see a very tall, almost very
Adam,
cookie cutter. Look, oh,
Sorry.
mute your mic.
Yeah, it was because there was a thingy on
Uh-huh.
my finger.
Uh huh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I had a thingy on my finger.
Uh huh.
Muted.
Hmm? What?
oh,
What'd you say?
also, let me put these in the chat too, so you guys can write his name down. Okay,
It's almost
so
like
there's
you've
Jonah
written all these for us.
Um, Next, you see Sebastian Emerson. He's a fairly tall, regular-looking human male. He has a kind of like my hair, like combed over, black, very clean-looking cut. And he wears square spectacles on his face. He's wearing kind of it looks like iron, but it's steel, and it's very clean steel armor. Um, there were you can hear a couple people talking about it, but he is known to have essentially almost never been scratched in combat due to his skills. To his left, he's not wearing a cloak or anything, just regular typical steel armor. And to his left side is a rapier that is covered by its holster. You can't see what the blade looks like, but the sheath for it is adorned in various jewels and is colored red. And he is also nicknamed the Eye of the War. Coming behind him is an extremely large and tall man, standing at over almost 7'6". He's a large human and considered to be probably the tallest and biggest human in the existence of humanity. It is Augustus Handelruld, also known as the World Shaker. The first thing you will notice, other than Augustus' massive size, is the huge the huge banner that he is wearing on his back that holds the Whiteflame sigil, which is of a sword encased in flame, and it's a huge, like, it's almost like, like a flagpole. It's almost that size on his back, but he's carrying it with no difficulty, straight backed. He wears a what would I call it? Like a karis, kind of like a sleeveless plate vest is what he's wearing. It's gold, and he wears a red cloak adorned on his back that makes room for the flag in the back. He's also carrying on his left hand a giant tower shield, a tower shield that's almost as tall as him, that he is carrying. That details two sagas of the humanity history: the defeat of the dragon Draco Foy, the Platinum Dragon, and underneath it is the construction of humanity. After Augustus, this is a man that none of you have seen yet. This is the first time you guys have seen this man. And it is Lan Dahao Long, he who never falls. This is the pillar that none of you are familiar with. He has a scar going over his left eye, and he keeps his eye closed, his right eye open. He has a gourd wrapped around his right hand that carries some kind of liquid. You guys aren't really sure what it is because it's capped right now. And he rests his left hand on what seems to be a very long katana sheathed in a blue sheath. He isn't wearing any armor. He has a cloak that's wrapped very heavily around his neck that just extends to about half of his back. And he wears no shirt, and his pants are very baggy and loose, and he wears a cloth sash around his waist. His chest bears a few scratches and scars, but nothing like too crazy, just like little dings and scratches. And the last one you see is Philippe Nobletree, the Prince of Humanity. Philippe is probably the most gaudy looking out of all of them. He is adorned in full gold armor as well, but gold armor that looks more cleaner than what the Judicator was wearing. It's brighter and it's shinier, and it's adorned with jewels and lacings in it, gold lacings. He also carries a sword in a golden sheath, and he's holding his helmet that he has that is also golden underneath his arm. He has very prime blonde hair, and his eyes are a very very bright blue. But even though he seems like very gaudy and very noble like, he has an aura about him that almost demands respect in a way. And as these pillars are passing by, everyone's cheering and everything. And as they continue making their way down, the crowd kind of follows just lightly behind them. And you guys go ahead and follow suit, and you continue down, following them as well. And you guys come to a halt when you finally make it to the gate, the residential exit gate. And as the gate opens, the pillars once again bow, wave, and then they all begin to head out. The gate lowers slowly behind them, and the crowd slowly starts to disperse.
Well, that sure was something. I wonder what they off doing.
Sorry, I was just thinking of other things.
Other things.
Other things.
So you guys are currently at the very bottom. You're like right at the wall of the residential gate, right at the gate.
Well, since we're out and about, we might as well go look for that kid.
Yep.
I suppose that's.
If
all
you
we
look at
have-
this map
we
that I
can
was
do right
handed
now.
that I don't actually have, this is where the Mother lives. So we might as well head over there and see what we can't find out about this kid.
All
I
right.
would
Joe?
still like to get washed first. So I want to
Alright,
go do that.
I suppose I could use a little preparation myself.
You guys mind if I start asking questions?
I'll come around with you. I want to see how you do when you're investigating something.
All right. But, I mean,
You're the one talking now.
oh, I understand. So you gonna go get cleaned up, and you gonna go get some stuff, and then we should figure out where we're gonna meet. Because if we just start wandering around, we may never find each other in a city this size. How about we come
What
back
time
to
is it
that,
right now, Alex?
So you guys woke up about right at sunrise, like right when the sun was peaking above the wall. So roughly, I'd probably say it's about 7:38 in the morning.
Yeah, how about you guys go and get cleaned up and finish eating your food that you didn't get a chance to, and we'll go around and meet you back there at that Adventures Guild in about an hour.
All right,
Well,
that sounds fun.
Now, where are you going?
Well, this Mother he has a map that says where she lives. We're gonna go see if she has any more details on her young boy named Joseph. Maybe a description, some kind of a visual look at him. I mean, some people get those fancy pictures done with the floofy collars. Maybe they have one of those.
When he ran
well,
away,
if-
why he ran away, if it could have been an abduction, etc., etc.
Did he turn into a mastiff? We don't know.
If you guys are just going straight there, I don't imagine I'll need anything extra before we head out, so I'll just join you guys instead.
Like I'm saying, I don't plan on leaving Humanity. I just want to, since it's here in this area, we might as well find out possible areas that it could be out if he ran away outside of Inner Humanity before we end up deciding to head off to
I
this
understand.
escort mission.
I understand.
Because escort quests are the best type of quests.
Let's go on ahead.
Yeah, so we'll catch back up with you later, says.
Okay.
Go take a
Split
nice
up.
long bath.
Okay. So the game plan. So Grimgore, Franks, and Willard are going to go check out Mother and Says is going to go take a bath, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, so Says kind of goes ahead and splits apart from the group. We'll focus on him for now. So Says, you're kind of like wandering around trying to
Hi, Rick.
vaguely remember the directions you got. Roll me a give me a wisdom saving throw.
17.
Okay, so you do end up remembering exactly where you need to go, despite getting detoured a little bit with the pillars leaving. So you make your way through the crowded streets. You're very taken aback by everything. Typically, you're usually very, very good about your directional awareness. But being in a city, it's completely new to you. It's artificial, it's man-made, and it's something you're just not used to. But you're excited, and it's pretty cool. You've never been around so many people before, even with the population of Dragon's Tail that you were at. Um, so you
This
make
is
your
my
way.
home now, I guess.
You find a marble-looking building that has a steam kind of radiating from the ceilings almost, and you figure that this is the bathhouse.
Okay, I go in. Whatever.
Okay.
Japanese
So you
style
walk in.
bathhouse.
It's very clean. You see you don't see anyone else in there right now waiting or anything like that, and there is a half elf female at the front desk, and she's like organizing some towels, and she kind of like she hears you come in. She kind of turns. She goes, "Ah, welcome to." Oh, she kind of like she's taking a gas a little bit at how like messy you actually are, and she's like, welcome to the amenity bathhouse. How may I help you?
um, I need to bathe.
Okay, would you like to bathe in the public bath, or would you like a private one?
It does not matter to me. I tend to bathe in the river, so
Ah, oh, okay. And she's kind of like, raising her eyebrow a little. She's like, well, the cheaper of the two options is the public bathhouse, which runs at about 5 gold pieces. But if you would like a private bath, it runs at about 15.
no, I will take a public bathhouse.
Okay. So you go ahead and exchange the 5 gold pieces to her.
Sure.
Damn, that's
She
an
hands
entire
you-
quest's worth.
It's a very expensive bathhouse.
Yes.
She takes the
Bro, I'm
She takes the-
confused. So I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, so she gives you 2 towels, and she goes, the public bath is to the right, down the hall to the left.
Sure, I walk that way.
Okay.
Oh, I ask her actually real quick. I'm like, is there anywhere to put my gear?
She goes, yes. Before you enter the bathhouse, there's a bit of I guess you could call it a cupboard room with boxes that you can put your stuff in.
All right. So I go do that. I go to the box, put my stuff in one.
Okay. So you go ahead and put your stuff in, and you make your way into the bath, or you make your way into the cupboard room, and you put your stuff away. Still haven't seen anyone, and you open the door into the public bath, and you only see 2 people in there. You see an old-looking human, like a very old-looking man, like probably roughly around 70 years old, and you see a dwarf who you can't really judge the age of because dwarves always look very worn and old, but his hair is black and brown, so he seems like he'd probably be roughly like around 30.
All right, let me specify. I put like my armor in the box as well, but I'm still wearing like casual clothes, you know.
Okay.
And I just hop in the bath.
Okay, so you jump into the bath with a huge splash, and like the dwarf's kind of like, whoa, and he kind of like moves to the other end of the pool. You pop your head out, and you kind of like sit your head back, and like for the first time, you feel like your muscles, and not only your muscles, but your mind kind of relax finally. For the first time since you've entered Amenity, you've been like able to relax.
Oh. I think to myself, maybe I'll do this more often.
Okay, and once David gets back, we will continue with what's going on with the other part of the crew, with the other part of maybe later.
Yes.
No,
Best
no,
name ever.
it's not a thing.
I'm gonna go.
Mm-mm.
This is actually a good time to like just take a like quick break. It's been like
Every-
what, an hour and a half now?
Everyone already took their break.
I'm making tea or hot water additive. My apologies, Adam.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pee real quick then. I'll be right back.
Do we have an estimated end time ish? I have dinner, random family stuff.
So we started at 3, right? We can end like 6 or 7.
Okay, whatever. Just making sure. Thanks.
Yeah. Uh huh.
We're playing till the sun goes down and then comes up the next day.
Where and where? Time zones matter.
Oh.
Yeah, I also am not a big fan of Judicator Nashkin. He didn't like me.
He doesn't like magic, dude. It's not your fault. It's probably been an hour by now, huh?
Yep.
It's probably been an hour by
What's
now.
up? Hmm?
I said it's probably been an hour by now.
What's been an hour?
Since he
in the
cast a
in-game
charm
time.
person skill.
Oh. Oh shit.
Yep.
Well, we said we'd be going back in an hour,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
It's not that hour, but since I cast Charm Person, it's probably been.
but
an
she's
hour.
going to know by the time we get back.
Yes, she will
Oh,
know by
yes.
the time we get back.
Okay, are we all back?
I'd say
Elizabeth
so.
will 100% know that she was charmed by the time we get back.
She's not gonna be happy with you.
I don't care. She's just a secretary.
Yeah, but she
Ooh.
knows everyone.
Ooh, she's the gatekeeper. You don't. Oh.
Oh, that's gonna bite you.
Mm.
That was out of character, dude. I don't know what
Oh,
you're
we
talking
know.
about.
We know. We know.
Oh no, I know it's out of character, but that charm is gonna. I don't think you've seen Elizabeth's mean side yet, so.
She starts yelling at me. I got 2 more spell slots today, baby.
All right. So Sez is currently enjoying his bath at the Humanity Bathhouse. So you guys, so we're gonna go back to where we split off. You guys are currently at the gate. I'm assuming
Try
you
to
guys want to head to Mother Ahm's house.
Mother Arms first. Yes.
Okay. So so the crowd is dispersed and the roads have emptied a little bit. It's still well early in the morning. So you guys make a trip over to the location that Grimgor could remember. And you make it to a humble-looking house. Like, it's 2 stories, but it looks like it's like 2 stories with like 1 room like length, I guess you could say. And you see like an old old lady on the front porch, kind of just rocking in a chair.
I kind of lean over to Frank and be like, "Hey, this is your chance. It's your turn to talk."
All right. Howdy, ma'am. Are you by any chance Mother Arm?
She goes, "Ah, well, yes, I am."
And I kind of put my thumb to the stone adventuring plate. As I saw a request on the board over there, the Adventures Guild, and I wanted to see if I couldn't start some investigation work to try to track down this Joseph fella. And well, best place to start is the person who put the request in. So here I am.
Oh, well, I'm so glad that you've taken my request. She kind of like, gets herself out of the chair. You can tell, like, even though she's like roughly like 45, she's been through some stuff. She's aged more than she should have. And she kind of like makes her way down the steps. She kind of comes up to you and she goes, "Oh yes, please, tell me what would you like to know?"
Well, first of all, if you could tell us a little bit about why he ran off or how you know he ran off. I mean,
She
I'm
kinda
sure
like-
you know because he's not here, but if you have any reasons or recollections, that'd be helpful.
She kind of scratches her head and she's like, "Well, Joseph is a very, very independent soul for his age. He's disappeared before, but always comes home. But he's never been gone for this long. He's been missing for 4 days now. And the last place he was simply at home, and I just woke up one morning and he was gone. I decided to wait a few days because he typically finds his way back. Unfortunately, at my age, being a widow, I don't really have the strength that I used to go out and look for him in the city like this. I always trust him to come back home, but it's been 4 days now, and he definitely has not returned."
All right, so he does go away often. You said now before, whenever he's come back, does he have any tales about where he went? Like maybe he's trying to become an adventurer, or does he have a special someone he fancies?
He says he just goes off to play with some of the kids that he knows downtown, but I can never hear when he returns home. I've never heard the door open or anything like that.
Never hit. Hard to hit, or is he just really?
No, even in my old age, I like to think that I have a very keen ear for when my child enters my house, but I'll just wake up one morning and he'll be home.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. And just wake up and he'll be home. That's interesting. Now, do you happen to have a good description, or maybe one of those portraits people get painted up of folks, so we could see what he looks like? That way, if I see him walking by, I can just say, "Hey, are you Joseph?"
Yes, yes. He's a young boy. He's blonde. He has short hair. He typically combs the front of it up. He has brown eyes. He's roughly I don't know, what's the average height of like a 12-year-old? I don't even.
I don't know.
They'd be about
45.
what?
Huh?
12-year-old?
Yeah, like a
What?
12-year-old.
12-year-old boy. Well, my son's 13 and he's about 5'2".
Yeah, I was gonna say
5'2".
like high
Really?
4 foot, low 5 foot.
Yeah, let's say
Yeah.
4 foot. Well, I'll say four
Oh
foot
yeah,
11.
never
So
mind.
he's about 4 foot 11.
Wait,
Um,
wait, how
he
tall are you,
tip-
bud?
Tell him to stand up.
Okay, he says he's 5 something. He doesn't know. Okay,
Okay.
Tell him to
Never mind.
stand up.
let's call it 5 foot.
Okay. So yeah, she's like, he's about 4 foot 11. He typically wears just colored tabards. He doesn't really wear anything more than that. He's very he likes to be flexible when he's running. And he last time I saw him, he had just like brown trousers.
I'm sorry to interject. Is he are you a poor family?
Um, I wouldn't call us poor. I'm retired from working, and my husband unfortunately passed away a few years ago. But he left us with a decent amount of wealth. I like to think I'm just uh, conservative with my
Has
money.
has your son ever come back with things you haven't gotten him?
She kind of like ponders for a moment and thinks about it. And she goes, "Nothing that I know of."
You see,
Now, you said he'd been running away in the past. Did he start running away and coming back after your husband passed away?
I believe so. Yes, you may be onto something. He has been disappearing. I don't know if this is a coping mechanism for his father's passing, but he seemed very, very mature about it. He seemed very understanding, and
I,
if
I
anything, he was helping me.
my father
What kind
also
of
died when I was young. Well, no, my father didn't die when I was young. My grandfather died when I was young. When I was
Oh, oh,
born.
oh, I'm terribly
what
sorry.
kind of
to hear
work?
that.
What kind of work did you and your husband do, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, my husband was a guard in the fringes. The kingdom typically has patrols out on the main roads out in the fringes, just to give a little bit of control to the outlaw that typically goes on out in the fringes. And unfortunately, he never came back home one day.
Okay.
Do
And
you
yourself?
sorry, what'd you
Sorry,
say,
what?
Alexander?
I said yourself because you said you stopped working recently.
Oh, yes. I simply used to just gather herbs in
Ah.
the outer amenity. We actually used to stay out there. We moved into the city recently when he took up the guard position.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
Did you have any less than savory contacts?
Not that I know of. I like to think that everyone who met with my husband, he was a very kind man. He typically never brought trouble back home.
Well, you see, guards with a lot of money generally leaves me not no offense to you or your husband. I'm just trying to figure out all the information possible.
Ah, yes, of course.
Generally leaves me to believe that there might have been some under the table dealing.
Well, if there were, I mean, I don't know if I would have been. I'd never even heard of it. And I never had anyone come by asking for him that seemed shady. It was always typically guards or nobles.
And is a boy human as well? His father was human.
Yes, yes, we are a human family.
Right. Just making sure. Making sure. And you said his plays with his friends downtown. You ever met any of these for dinner or for something?
Um, now that I think about it, no. I typically just lended him to his own vices. Like I said, he's very, very mature for his age.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost a spitting image of his father, and
Do you have
he
any
took care of me and everything.
photographs, paintings, drawings, anything of his father? Of
Ah,
you and
yes, of course. Would you like to come in, please? I could make some tea for you all for taking such a job for me.
That would be kind. Thank you.
She gives a very, very warm smile,
is she
and
hot?
she opens. She's wearing like she's almost like wearing like grandma clothes for like being 45. You can't really tell her figure underneath. Her face is kind of worn.
How old is your
She has a few
son?
gray
That's another
hairs.
question I should ask.
It
He's
says in the
13.
thing it was 13.
It was 13.
Yeah.
So
She
you
had him
were
late.
a late blooming parent.
Yes, yes, I was. She's like, oh, I could talk about the days running away with my husband for ages, but then we would be here all day. And she opens the door. And kind of
Running
lets you
away
guys
must
in.
have run in the family a bit then.
She gives a slight little like giggle, and she goes ahead and lets you guys inside.
Frank, you gotta be nicer than that.
Well, but she said it.
Frank,
She
sometimes
goes
I
ahead
think
and
you're not even human.
she leads you guys into she leads you guys into her dining room, and as you could tell from the outside, it's a very very small home. Franks, you're almost like I don't even think you could even like put your hands all the way outward in the hallway that you just entered.
How tall
Like-
are you? How tall did you say your character was?
I don't think I did. He appears to be quite. Let's see, where I have it written down.
Average.
Oh no. He just feels very nondescript except for the size. Let's see, I have him written down as 6'7".
Okay, so you're still taller than me. So he can't fit, and I can barely fit. So because we're both
Yeah,
big
so you guys
dudes.
are kind of like
We're both
you
we're
feel
both
a little
like,
tight, and you can see that the building is very very small, but it's
I'm
very
there
very well
too.
adorned. Like you can
I'm
tell
there
that the
too.
decorations were great in the building. Very very homey, very very homey feeling.
Did you say you're
And,
big too, David?
I said I'm there too.
Oh, you're there too.
Yeah, I was gonna say Willard and Says have no problem in the building.
Well, Says
They
isn't
feel
here because
fine.
he's taking a bath.
Or I'm sorry, yeah, Willard's fine. Says is chilling in the bathhouse.
And it looks like
And,
two bodyguards following around Willard.
Yeah, basically, it's how it is. And you can tell, like, even though you guys like definitely look like, well, other than Willard and Frank's, even though you look kind of very outlandish, Grimgore, she has taken you like almost as if you were just, she doesn't look at you any differently than she does a normal person. And she brings you into their dining room.
When we come
and,
into the room, I pull the bare part back, so it's just kind of hanging like a
Okay.
sweatshirt hood over my. You
Yeah.
gotta take your hat off when you go indoors.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say. So she.
But I don't because I don't want to take my hat off.
Okay. And so she brings you to the dining room. She goes, I'll go ahead and start making some tea. Oh, here are the pictures. And she kind of walks over to a dresser that has a couple pictures, and she takes 3 of them, and she gives them to you. As she makes her way back to the kitchen, you guys look at them. The first picture it's a family portrait of her husband, and her son. Her son is a baby, and she's kind of holding him in his arms, and you can tell he has a very, very decently like thick head of hair for being such a young baby. The next one is a picture of what seems the son that seems Joseph, probably like around 8 years old, and the dad kind of like picking him up, and he's happy and he's jumping around. And then the next portrait is a portrait of the mother and the son, and she's kind of like resting her head on his. He's kind of sitting on his lap, and it seems to be the most recent photo. He looks about like what a 13-year-old would look like, and they seem very happy in the picture. Do we want to pause for Alexander, or
He can still hear
I'm still
you.
here.
Okay?
I'm getting my my mug.
Yeah, I just want to make
How,
sure you're still here.
How recently did your husband die, man?
She kind of makes her way back with some cups and starts pouring some tea. And she goes, he passed away 2 years ago.
Two how many? 2 years ago or 2 weeks ago?
2 years ago.
I was like
Not
2
2
weeks ago. Dang, dude.
Yeah, she recovered real fast.
Bounce
No, 2
back.
years.
She's like, I'm already engaged again.
Is that honey?
So she's she finishes pouring your guys' tea, and she goes back in the kitchen and puts it away.
Is it a very bitter tea?
It's
no,
specifically
it's very
for
sweet
throat.
tasting. It's very sweet tasting,
Sweet.
almost like honey.
Man, I have to be honest with you here. You saying that your son can sneak in without you noticing makes me think that he himself might be dealing in some unsavory business and something went south.
She kind of comes back, and you can tell like by the way she reacts, she's kind of been thinking that too. And she's like, I've had some grim thoughts about that, but if there's anything I know about Joseph is that,
Why were you thinking
He's-
about me?
Grim
I said
thoughts.
Joseph.
Yeah.
Grim.
Grim thoughts. He's yeah.
oh okay. She's like, yeah, I've had some thoughts, but if there's one thing I know about Joseph is that he's good in the heart, and I don't think he would ever want to put himself in a predicament where he would end up getting his life taken away from him. If there's one thing that he cares about, it's definitely me, and I don't think he would ever want to hurt me in that kind of way.
Well, he might have gotten in his unsavory situation
To help you.
yeah, too.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. But if there's one thing I know is that he'll always come back to me.
Ma'am, were you? Is the residential side? Which sector is it in? The top right, top left, bottom right,
Bottom right.
bottom right.
So, yeah, so it's divided in, like,
Yeah.
pie, 4 ways.
Yeah, I
bottom
get
right.
that, but I was like, ma'am, I know you live more on the southern side of Interhumanity, but have you ever heard? Ah, I'm starting to go southern because of you, Alexander.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I heard it a little bit.
Ugh. Have you ever heard of the barbarian attacks on the north?
She goes, yes, I remember hearing about that. That was very recent, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just a couple years ago. I lost a lot of good friends then, and many of them didn't think what they were doing was wrong. Many of them told people that they'd come back, and a lot of them didn't. Most of them didn't.
She kind of nods. She goes, oh, so you're a barbarian. But you can tell, like, her expression didn't really change. She didn't say it as if, like, she was trying to, like, profile you. She was just out of, like, to reassure what you were saying. She was like, so you are a barbarian, correct?
I am, Chieftain Grimgor Tallstag of the Tribe of the Bear.
She goes, well, Chieftain, I'm very sorry for your losses.
I'd just like to tell you, I've seen people with good intentions get into things that weren't the greatest, that ended up in them breaking promises and hurting those that they loved.
And she kind of nods in agreement. She goes, yes, well, I'm hoping that you fellows here will be able to prove to me that that is wrong.
Well, the first thing to do would be to check the dungeons, see if he got picked up by any guards or anything. Especially with all 5 pillars that were here. Could have easily been picked up by someone way out of his skill level. If he was doing anything unsavory.
Mm-hmm. She goes, well, she's like, typically the sewer, the underways of.
Did you just say the sewers? I told you we're going to the sewers. Who called it? Who called it?
She goes, the underways are typically very, very heavily barred, and the only people who have access to the sewers are typically the guards. Us citizens really don't have any reasons to go down there.
Yeah, but there's one way in and out of a city. It's definitely not trying to lift a wall with trees. It's going to be going through the sewers.
She thinks to herself, she goes, I just don't know how Joseph would have been able to get into the sewers. And she's kind of like thinking to herself, trying to like think of like possible ways that he could have gotten in.
Ma'am, you said he gets in and out of here easily without you noticing?
She thinks for a second. She goes, wait a minute. She's like, we do have a cellar. And she kind of like waves you over and like to come with her essentially, and she starts making her way down the hall.
We would go down there and we would explore, but one of our party members aren't here right now. So we'll probably come back after we've picked him up.
Okay.
If we do end up possibly going into the sewers, I don't want to, as some would say, split the party.
Well, I don't believe my cellar has an access way to the sewers, but I'm going to take a look around it while you gentlemen are gone. I do really appreciate you guys taking my request. Please do come back soon.
Just as a quick note, as Frank takes one of the cups of tea, he basically, like, even though it's steaming hot, he just kind of just real quickly drinks it as if he's not accustomed holding teacups or drinking them. He doesn't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
FYI.
Does he actually ingest it? This is me out of character asking.
Yes,
does he actually
does ingest it.
Because I don't know how automatons actually behave in the world.
They
or
can
Warforged
ingest,
or whatever it is. Like
they can ingest.
Okay.
They just don't have to. But he himself is unaccustomed to it. But he sees it.
He saw
watches
me
everyone
do
else
it
does
and everyone else does.
So it'd be like him taking a boiling thing and just going.
Listening. So she goes ahead and she gives you a farewell. Do you guys just leave then?
I'll be like, we'll be back soon. We'll make sure everyone's ready before in case you do have some way that could possibly get you into the cellar, or get you even out of your house and lead us down a path. I want to make sure we're all ready and prepared.
Yes, of course. I will go ahead and I'll take a look in our cellar for anything out of the ordinary. You may be onto something here. And she gives like a she has like a determined face. Like this is the most fun she's had, despite her son missing. Like all this talk of like you know uh, a secret way to get into her house. She's like kind of excited, and this is probably the most fun she's had in a while. So
I kind of slip into the barbarian salute as I walk out, like not even thinking about it, right? Because it's like my first day not in barbarian culture. I just kind of
yeah,
give the salute and start walking out.
she kind of like looks at it and she just gives you a bow, a respectful bow. And you guys exit the house.
All right. So we still got a little bit of time. I was gonna run over to the stockade and grab a scimitar, and then we'll run back to the. Was there a name of the Adventurers Guild, or is it just called the Adventurers Guild?
It's called the Adventurers Guild.
And then we'll run back to the Adventurers Guild, pick up Sez, and head into the cellar.
And while we're at the stockade, we can see if they picked up any young youth with short blonde hair.
I think
Combed
it's
up in the
just
front.
called the stockade. I don't think it's the actual stockades.
Yeah, it's the
Oh.
name. Yeah, it's called the Stockade. Sorry, I wasn't
Hey,
clear about
no,
that.
no, he doesn't know. It's all you're
Yeah.
good.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so you guys are gonna head to the Stockade.
You, you coming, Willard?
Yep, I'll be with you.
All right. So I'm guessing the stockade also has like other general goods other than just weapons.
We'll see when we
General
get there.
goods.
We'll get there. So
Sure, we can miss.
Grimgor recalls the directions that he was given to by Elizabeth. Um, it is in the Noble District, which is to the left of the residential district. It's kind of a straight shot there too, based from where you guys are. You guys can actually take the road you're on straight there. So you guys just take a decent walk. Let's say it takes you about 25 minutes to get there. And I will say you guys are about 20 minutes from the meeting time that you decide to do with Sez.
No, that's
So,
fine. I don't care if I'm a
you get-
few seconds late.
You guys notice that as you cross over into the Noble District, it's a stone bridge that goes over a waterway that separates all the districts. Waterways do, and as you cross over, you can see the sudden drastic change in the architecture. It's cleaner with more expensive materials. You're seeing like marble, um, cut and clean stone. It's just a lot cleaner of an atmosphere. Even like the smell of the air seems even cleaner than it was just a moment ago. Lot less people there, but the people you do see in the streets are wearing very, very elegant clothing, women in dresses, and you also see an amistial guard every now and then walking amongst the roads.
Actually, as we pass one of the guards, I'm gonna just pull him, like, kind of like, see if I can't wave one down real quick.
Okay, an
So, like,
amistial guard.
yeah, just to see if I can't get their attention, because I want to ask them since we're over this way.
Okay, so as an amistial guard's kind of walking down, in full armor, helmet, you kind of wave him down, and he kind of gives you a bow, which you're kind of like shocked by, and he goes, Grimgor Talstag, how may I help you?
We're actually looking for this boy named Joseph. I think he might have got put in some shady business the past 4 days. Have you by any chance picked up any young boys? This would be the best, like 13 years old. Arrested any young boy? Have you arrested any young boys? 13 years
so
old.
many young lads off the corner of the street.
13 years old, real sneaky type, probably looking to steal something. If I had to take a guess.
The guard kind of like thinks himself for a moment. He goes, I'm sorry, chieftain, but I've not been reported anything, and I have not gotten anything myself. That description doesn't really bring anything to my mind. But if you'd like, I can talk to the other guards and see what information I can get.
If you hear anything and you see me walking around, or you can just spread it around, tell the other guards that we're looking for this boy. His mom's getting worried, and we want to find him before something bad happens, or before you guys pick him up if he is doing something wrong.
Oh, yes, of course, no problem. I'm assuming this is a quest you're doing. Someone's missing?
Yes.
Okay. I'll be sure not to get in the way of that, but I will definitely let you know if I got.
I give him the
information.
same description his mother gave us.
Yeah.
4'11",
Yeah,
blonde.
Yeah. He goes ahead, and you see like he just kind of like takes it in memory, like he doesn't even write it down. He's just
I mean,
like,
I
"All
didn't
right."
write anything down either.
Yeah, he's like, I got everything. And I will go ahead and leave you guys to your business.
Stockade,
Please.
just this way, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Just down the road. And he goes chieftain, and then you see he bows to the other two. He goes Franks Willard. He bows and
Actually,
then he moves
could you
on.
pass it around? Treat me like a normal dude. Like
Do
in
you?
public. In public.
So you don't want me to call you chieftain?
No, I don't even let my own people call me chieftain.
All right. Talstag,
Grimgore.
Grimgore. And he gives a bow and goes ahead and starts moving.
All right.
So you guys continue on.
Yeah, going on to the stockade.
Yep, you guys move on to the stockade, and if there's no conversation you guys want
No,
to have
just
when you're there,
Beeline.
booking it.
Just
Okay. So
knees to chest.
you actually make your way to like kind of like a district square, even though it's a circle. A district square.
All these
with
squares
various
make a
shops.
circle.
And you can see you see kind of a wooden like sign hanging off of a wooden off of a pole extending from the building that says the stockade in very clean and stenciled letters. And there's stone steps to a door, and in the window you can see like armor sets that are kind of like on display in the front window.
I go in.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So Grimgore leads the way and opens the door, and you enter a very
Grimgore rushes in for all my adventure.
So it's a cobblestone building, and it's very undecorated. It's very to the point. You have weapons in aisles in the middle of the room, and then you have shields and armor on the walls. There's a front desk, and like it's literally just stone walls.
Dude or
Like,
chick?
can't
Dude or
open
chick
your
at the
step
front?
Huh?
Male or
Dude.
female? Sir, scimitars, and I like start pointing towards the aisles.
You see a man like coming back into the room with like three plate vests, and he goes, oh, scimitars, yes. The second aisle right there.
swords.
Yes, curved swords, right there. And he's you see he's kind of like bustling to like move these plated vests to the wall.
Now, just for your information, so you don't have to look it up. I don't know how you want to price it, but inside it's 25 gold pieces for a scimitar in the player's handbook. Just so
Okay,
you know
yeah.
how much you want to charge people, whether you want to
Yeah.
go above or below, without you
Okay.
having to look it up. So
No,
I'll go.
it's a stockade. It's you know what you need, and it's to the point. So yeah, you look at the scimitars, and he quickly mentions also he's like 25 gold pieces for the curvatures.
Curvatures. I'll just grab. Actually, I want to grab one that looks like. I don't want to grab one that looks like it's brand new. I want to grab one that looks like it has a little bit of wear on it, but just like, you know what I mean? That it's been used, it's been tested, but it hasn't been used so much that it's starting to wear on the quality of the blade. I don't want a brand new, fresh blade, but I don't want something that's overused.
Yeah. Okay. So you're looking at the scimitars, and you can see that they're not really organized by use. You can see a couple really clean ones, and then you can see some ones that have like definitely been like used out in the field and then just returned. But there are a few that you can see that are like just about at the wear that you want.
Yep, I'll grab one and I'll walk over and I'll plop 25 gold pieces and 1 silver as a tip on the counter.
He kind of makes his way back to the counter, and he starts counting out the pieces very, very quickly. Counts them out, and he goes, "Oh, thank you for your patronage. I hope you enjoy the sword."
I hope it works out well. Maybe I might buy more equipment from you. Or come to you
Ah.
for if I need something repaired.
Yes, of course. We're the most dependable weapon and armor shop in the entirety of humanity. So please, yes, do come back whenever.
Yes, and I would also like to get a new sword, a short sword, in fact.
Just a simple
I-
short sword.
Yeah, I already have one, but I like to use 2 at once. And if what I'm using isn't the same in both hands, I don't feel balanced. So I need to have something a little bit better than these 2 daggers. What do you imagine I could trade these 2 daggers in for?
Well, if you trade in those, well, here, let me take a look at those daggers. So he takes the daggers, and about how like worn do you think? Like you've used these a lot, haven't you?
Yeah, they've been my mainstay since I left.
Since you left, okay. So yeah, he's kind of looking at them, and he goes, well, he's like, these daggers are pretty worn, but the iron is still good. So I could probably cut you a price. You're looking for 2 short swords or just one?
Just a single one.
Just a single one? I can cut you a price. Typically, we have our short swords at about 10 gold pieces, but with the trading with these 2 daggers, I can cut it down to 5.
Okay, that would be wonderful.
Yes, no problem. Thank you. So he takes the 2 daggers, and he kind of brings you over to the weapon rack, and he pulls out a few short swords to kind of like let you look at. What kind of short sword were you looking for? Like a clean one, or kind of like the same like Grimgore was looking for? Just any sword?
I just one that's like kind of, or just looks robust. Like
Okay.
it's solid but not too fancy.
Okay. He gets you a pretty plain looking short sword, nothing too special, and he hands it to you. And then so 5 gold pieces.
Yeah.
Okay, so you toss him the 5 gold pieces. He counts it out. Well, thank you for your patronage, and you have a short sword.
Thank
Wow,
you.
not even leaving a tip, Willard.
Willard disliked that. No, Willard will remember that.
Well,
All right,
should-
we should
Frank,
probably
what
get
are you
back
up
to the
to?
guild.
Are
We should
you up to
probably get
anything
back
in
to
the
the
shop?
guild.
I'm looking at various ranged weapons and looking at any kind of scrap material that he might have lying around. Towards the end of everything, I will ask him. By any chance, do you have any just like small little bits like leather or get rid of? If not, that's more than fine. I'm just kind of perusing. I like to help get rid of waste.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, what were you looking for again? I'm sorry, I interpreted half of that.
Yeah, no. Basically, he's looking to see if there's any scrap bits of leather or iron that the guy doesn't have, that he doesn't want around anymore.
He goes, well, I don't typically get a request like that, but we do have scrap metal. I mean, I could just give you a pile of it for like a gold piece if you like.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. That'd be fantastic, actually. Yeah, no, I like to tinker just a bit and try to see what I can't make with my hands. So little bits of metal is sometimes a little bit better than trying to buy a big old sheet you gotta carry around.
Interesting. Not many people are independently tinkerers, but yeah, let me go ahead and get that scrap metal for you. So he kind of goes into the back room, and he kind of like brings back like a small crate that's filled with various cut pieces and planks of iron.
Cool. Yeah, and he'll take them and he'll open up a bag in his pouch and he'll just put the whole thing in there,
The whole box.
the whole box.
You got a
so
haversack already?
He just puts the whole thing in there.
Yeah, so he opens the haversack and he literally just takes the whole box and just
How
puts
come
it in.
you get a haversack? I didn't get a haversack.
Well, thank you very much for this. And he has a gold and 5 silver.
He goes, oh, well, thank you for your patronage. Appreciate it. You know, you gentlemen are all right. I hope you guys come back. I'll be sure to get you guys whatever you need.
Well, thank you much for that.
Thank you.
Well, let's get back to the guild then.
As they leave the shop, Frank's look over at you, Grimgore. He's like, what exactly is a haversack?
It's just a magical bag. You can store stuff in it.
Oh, well, I mean, I do have a bag that I can store stuff in, but I know heard of it referred to as a haversack.
Just don't ever turn it inside out.
Don't ever. Why would I turn it inside out? Everything will spill out of it.
Everything will spill out of it very fast.
Yeah.
No, like really fast.
Yeah.
No, like there's normal speed spill out. Then there's this speed spill out. Very fast.
Do you want to go in the bag?
I would die.
Oh. Okay.
Actually, do animate things die? Or like have issues when they're
There's a
shoved in
certain
the
amount
bag?
of air in it. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, there is.
I'm like, I think I would live for a little bit, but then I'd die.
Yep. No, well, I mean, like I said, I never heard of it referred to as such a. I do have a sack, but it's not a have-er sack.
No, don't worry about it. Let's get back to the guild.
Okay, so Says we're gonna time skip him. So Says is right back at the Adventurers Guild. So you guys are just making your way straight there.
Yeah, we're just pew, and we're grabbing him.
So you guys are kind of on your way back through the noble district. A few Amisto guards do bring you over, and they just quickly explain like, yeah, we haven't heard anything about a young boy named Joseph with blonde hair or anything like that. So you just got reconfirmed that like the Emissio Guard hasn't had anything turned into them recently. You make your way back. You enter the Adventurers Guild.
We're just grabbing Says. Oh crap! We're entering the Adventurers Guild. It might take a minute to grab Says.
So Grimgor opens the door, not really thinking about it, and the moment Elizabeth sees you, like death eyes, like she's like, she kind of like she flips open the wood gate, moves from behind the desk, and for the first time you see that she's wearing like I don't know, like dress pants that are like cut like right above the waist. And she has heels as well. She's walking to you very soon. She goes, Grimgor, we are gonna have a talk.
Well, I mean,
while she pulls
now.
Grimgor away, says like waves at you guys, and he's kind of at a table.
Can I be eating an apple?
Yes, so you're eating an apple.
Can I have an apple? Can I have your apple, Says?
Elizabeth's like, hey, buddy, your conversation's with me right now.
I mean, you should have just given us the 2 quests.
Thankfully.
Wow.
Did you read the note? Did you at least read the note?
Yes, I read the note, and I'm still very upset.
Well, you should have read the note.
She's like, if you continue doing these kinds of things to me, I'm going to have to turn you in, and I don't want to have to do that.
I mean, this is how people get things done.
She shakes her head. She's like, I'm still going to help you, but you're on thin ice. And she makes her way back, flips the table, and she goes.
But she says that I'm like, I've lived on thin ice before. Because
she turns. She turns. She's like, oh, I'll make you live on thin ice. And she like.
I come from thin ice. Do you know nothing of history?
She just doesn't even listen to you. She's just writing in her book now. So So Says is chilling, eating the apple.
I'm gonna walk over to Says and be like, hey.
Okay. And I leave with them.
Okay.
As we're heading there, we're filling them in, by the way.
Okay, so Says you just got filled in on everything. It's roughly about like.
Did
1
you just
PM,
type
2
in
PM.
thin ice in the Discord chat?
No.
Oh,
Did
hold on.
somebody? Nobody
Altuan.
did.
Me?
I made it.
I was sending you a message.
Oh! Okay, now I understand. I'm good now. No, I'm good now. It's okay. I'm good now. Yeah, I get that. I get that. You don't have to be mean. Everyone sees whatever you type when they watch the playback.
That's fine.
Being mean.
So you pick up Says and you guys start making your way back. It's about 2 p.m. and you get back to you guys kind of take your time making it back, and you get to Mother Am's house roughly around 2:30.
Okay.
She's not on her porch. She's still inside.
Wait, you say at 2:30?
About 2:30, yeah.
Just 3 good knocks.
Okay.
Not aggressive.
You guys have been walking around a lot, so you guys took a very leisurely stroll back.
Not an aggressive knock, but just 3 solid knocks.
Oh, and also one thing also notice, you guys realize that Says doesn't smell anymore, and he looks very clean.
Why do I
don't
care?
see-
I don't care.
You don't
about
see
hygiene.
the gold and black paint anymore. I
he
sleep
doesn't have-
nice. I'm like happy for once.
Yeah, he's happy, like finally. Like it's a noticeable change. Okay, so you knock on the door and you hear just a minute. And after a minute, she makes her way to the door.
A whole minute? She makes me stand there for 60 seconds?
A whole minute. And she
10 rounds.
she quickly opens the door and she's like, "Oh, Grimgor, you're back."
Who else would it be?
She goes, "Oh, that's a good point." And she goes ahead and lets go.
I hadn't thought of that.
She goes,
So I
I don't
kinda-
know what gets. I don't know what gets. Yeah.
Alexander and I kind of squish in.
She goes, so I can lead you to where the entrance of the cellar is, but I checked down there and there wasn't really anything of notice. But
We'll see.
I'll let you guys have a look around just in case I miss something.
Yeah, that might be something else we can see.
So she goes ahead and leads you guys down the hall. To the very end of the hall, there's a door.
As we're
She
walking
opens-
through the house, I'm going to cast Detect Magic.
Okay. You do
So
not detect
anything in a 60-foot area.
I think he does detect some magic.
Yep.
Yeah, I will detect any magic in a 60-foot area. What else is it? I can know the type of like the school of magic it's in. Hold on. For the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and you learn of its school of magic, if any. It can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt.
Yeah, you don't detect any magic.
But he does.
Nope, no magic.
If any of them around me have magic or are magic, I detect
Nope.
the magic.
You don't detect anything from Frank's. Nothing really from. I don't think you just Willard. You don't have anything that can be detected at the moment, right? Says doesn't really have any. Yeah,
And
you don't
nothing
detect
coming
really
from the
anything.
cellar as we move towards it, because it lasts for an hour.
No, yeah. No, you haven't.
Or
sensed
10
anything
minutes,
yet.
sorry. It lasts for 10 minutes. So I'm keeping
you
this
haven't
up as
sensed
we're walking
anything.
through.
Okay. So
I
she'll
guess
door for
he
you.
does notice a little bit of like a dark sort of magic.
Okay, you
like,
sense a bit of a
just
flame
very-
like right in the center
yeah.
of Willard. It's a very faint flame, but you can see it.
What's its school of magic? Necromancy, abjuration,
Is it destruction? Is what it?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, it's just destruction.
Well, that's not a school of magic.
I thought it was.
No, it's
Whatever. What would fireball be?
It starts with an
Conjuration.
E, right? It's
No,
E.
that evocation is
Evocation.
Yeah, evocation. That's what it is.
You all right, Says? You got a fireball in your stomach, or not?
No,
Says
not
Willard.
Not Says Willard. Yeah.
Willard, you all right? You got a fireball in your stomach.
Says freaks out for a second.
I want it to go on record. I do say that. I say the wrong name.
Yeah, says starts freaking out, thinking he's on fire.
What are you talking
I'm like,
about?
I'm like,
It's just you've got magic inside of you, similar to if someone were to cast a damaging
Fireball.
spell, such as fireball, call storm.
Don't know what you're talking about.
All right, you and your secrets. I still don't understand why this one acts like he was born yesterday, and I point at Frank.
no magic.
I know, but I'm like, I still don't understand why this one was acts like he was born yesterday. Wait, is that a home phone? Frenchie, is that a home phone? Oh my god! I thought I was the only one that still had a home phone in 2019.
Oof. All right, we'll wait for Frenchie, and then we'll journey down to the cellar.
Actually, I want to say that I didn't just like say that in front of everyone. I want to whisper it to Willard.
Okay. So go ahead and do a conversation then.
Yeah, just be like, hey, I noticed some magic inside of you. If it's personal, don't worry about it. But I just want to make sure you're all right. If we're gonna be partying together, make sure it's not something that's gonna cause a problem.
Still don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Well, you might want to get that looked at. Insight check. I don't trust you.
All right.
That is a 21.
Well, so what did Willard say? I forgot.
He said he doesn't know what he's talking about, or doesn't know what I'm talking about. So you have to do a deception?
Against your 21, I guess so. Yeah.
If he's trying to deceive me, then it's a deception 21. If
What are
he's
you
not-
trying to do, Willard? You trying to deceive him, or are you just trying to?
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess.
Try and beat him with that deception then.
That's charisma.
Yep.
Yes.
So it's just 9.
So I can tell that you lied to me, David.
Yeah,
I don't say anything more of it.
good.
So, oh, Frenchie's still gone.
Gone, Princey gone.
And yeah, Alexander, that should be good.
Cool.
We just met today. If he says there's nothing about it, then clearly it's not gonna hurt the party. So
So the party wipes. Good campaign.
and then we find out
Willard
that he was
explodes.
secretly a wild magic sorcerer, and then rolls
Willard
a
explodes.
it kills us
And
all.
lights the party.
I hate when Willard explodes.
Have you seen the one with the giraffe head exploding that Frenchie posted? It was
God,
like-
yeah. I think that's still in.
I think it's still in D&D stuff.
D&D shit. Yep.
Yep, wild magic sorcerer. I am a magician. Observe.
Observe.
Head explodes. It's great.
All right. Where'd Frenchie go?
I think he had a phone call from his mom.
Okay.
So Sez pulls out his cell phone and has to take a call real quick.
No, he's calling probably about his cell phone. Oh, dude, he's still got his little Arizona state glass. If you look, that little glass on his bed, he made that on something.
Laser engraver?
How's your tea?
Delicious.
What type is it? Does it have a specific flavor?
It's a throat medicine kind of thing. Has like
Hey,
mint and
Rick,
crap
you
in
want to get some tea? I'm gonna get some water on the pot or on the.
it. Make sure to put it in your Waffle House mug.
Yes.
Don't have one. But remember that next time I get a Waffle House mug.
I have several.
Do they just let you take the mugs from Waffle House, or do you have to pay for a Waffle House mug?
These are the Christmas specialty mugs, and they always give me.
Oh, hey, look, Frenchie's back right when David leaves.
Sorry, I've discovered that my phone is completely dead.
No. Rip.
The dude's like, yeah, I tried everything and nothing worked. It's like, sick.
Time to get a new phone.
All right, so now that Cez is off of his phone call, we find out that that Willard's making tea, distraught by the fact that someone mentioned something about the magic inside of him. You've got the magic in me.
Oh, and also you missed it, Frenchie, but the party wiped because Willard.
Yeah, the
exploded.
party wiped because Willard exploded. So
Classic.
I hope you have a new
everyone
character.
needs to draft new characters.
Get ready for
I'm
the.
gonna play a character that's called a Grim.
I'm gonna play a character called Franks. Hey, Alexander, do you want to switch characters? I kind of like the sound of yours more.
Yeah, you've been doing the southern accent.
It keeps
my
slipping
new-
in because of you.
My
Like,
new
I'm trying to-
character's name is Philippe Nobletree.
No relation to the pillar. No relation.
No relation.
No relation to him. Just
The
coincidence.
subprince of amenity.
All right, so we go into the cellar, and my detect magic still doesn't see any magic.
Nope. So you enter the cellar. Yeah, you haven't detected anything. It's a standard stone cellar. You can see two big kegs that you assume contain either water or a juice of some kind. There's a couple boxes stacked in the corner, like let's say 3 boxes and then one on top of the middle one in the corner. There's
Did
a
you
few
try moving those
cobwebs.
boxes, ma'am?
She goes, "Oh yes, of course. It just has some various knickknacks that we found we didn't have any use for."
I just go and I manhandle these and pick them up and move them.
Okay, so you pick them up and move them.
Anything behind them?
And you don't really see anything, no.
I'd like to do an investigation, like try to search for anything that would be hidden.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull out a toolkit to use my tools to do that. I'm gonna pull out some thieves' tools.
Okay.
Because he's
ahead.
proficient in thieves' tools.
Is that what the thieves' tool do, or what does it do again?
It helps me to like try to find and locate traps and disarm them. What kind of like poking
Okay.
and prodding, using that way. If I happen to come across something, it's not gonna spring out and smack,
Yeah. Okay.
around the face.
Go ahead. All right, let's do that roll.
Okay, investigation of a 24.
Okay. So
Is the
Quickly-
wait? Quick question: is the basement dark? Are there lights down here?
she brings a lantern down.
All right, I'm gonna produce flame too, just so there's a little bit more light.
Okay.
It's just a
So you produce the
fireball in my
light, and
hand.
That helps out Alexander, Franks, and he Franks immediately kind of analyzes the room, and he starts checking the walls, and he notices that there's a stone loose in the wall.
Well, if I do declare, the mortar's gone bad of this.
Pull
Ma'am,
out the
do you-
stone.
Ma'am, do you mind if I pull out the stone from here?
She goes, "Yes, that's very odd. Yes, please go ahead." So you notice you can't pull it.
I'll try pressing it.
Okay, so you push it in, and suddenly you hear kind of a mechanism click and go off, and you start hearing you start hearing or not hearing, but you see the wall kind of silently start sliding back. and then it moves to the right very quietly. You notice,
Good
and
times.
there's a cavern lit with torches.
Before we go in here, I think we might want to tell the guards that we're about to be down there so they don't get mad at us being down there.
Does it seem as though this tunnel is going downwards towards the underground,
Um,
or is it just kind of still
it seems
kind
like
of
it kind of
parallel?
just goes straight. The
Okay.
cellar's a decent amount, or the cellar, or yeah, her cellar is like a couple flights, or I'd say about like 2 stories down, so it's pretty deep.
Oh,
So
it's
yeah, the
okay.
cavern
Yeah.
kind of just goes.
Does it feel like we're about to start going into the sewers, the areas that the guards don't want us in?
You don't smell anything that would indicate that it's the sewers.
All right. Disregard that. Let's go.
Okay,
Do
she
we
goes.
need a
She
marching
goes.
order?
Sorry, what?
This was me talking to us. Like,
Yeah.
should we establish a marching order? I'm kind of beefy. I don't mind being in the front. And I've got the flame, so any of us without dark vision can still see. Because I think I'm a human,
I'm a
David's a
human.
human, and Frenchie's a human.
Human.
Who just changed it to boss baby?
What? Excuse me, what?
Sorry. And then I don't know. Can you see in the dark? Can you see in the dark, Franks?
Same as you guys.
So that
It
thing
is.
hit-
It is lit by torches. So it is.
But in case we reach a point that doesn't
yeah.
have torches, I want to go in the front and keep producing. Actually, I don't know how long produce flame lasts, but it's a cantrip, so I'm just gonna keep re-upping it every time it goes out.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking at the chat for the
No.
stupid boss baby thing?
I'm not. I'm looking at something else, but
Frenchie typing in thin ice.
That's not what I'm typing right now.
All right.
Right now, I'm chatting with a Google support specialist.
so how long does your light stay produced for?
I mean, it's a cantrip, so I can just keep popping it back up. Like, it doesn't take
Okay.
up any spell slots, but I think it lasts. What is it? Produce flame is probably like a couple minutes.
So
10 minutes. It's 10 minutes, but I can keep popping it back up.
Yeah. So what's the order you guys want to go? So we want to go Grimgore first.
I'll
I'll
go
be right
second.
Oh, never mind.
Or third.
Well, do you generally like to be up in the front if you get into a fight, or do you?
We're in combat, so.
So you'll
Yeah.
be behind me.
You go behind Grimgore.
So it's me, Willard, Frank, and
I'll pull up the
then
rear.
says.
Okay. Got it. So, she kind of, she goes, oh, well, please do be careful. I've never seen this, never seen a cavern like this before. I'm worried about what might be in it.
Miss, I would recommend going back up to the surface and staying present with the guard while we're down here.
She goes, yes, I will go see if I can alert a
Um,
guard immediately.
When I walk through, does it look like there's a mechanism to open it from the other side?
Yes, when you enter in, you can see that there's a lever.
I say we close this behind us just so nothing else happens.
Mind if I give it a quick once over just in case? Sometimes kind of tricky.
Yep, go for it.
Okay.
Um,
He wants to give it a once over to make sure there's not a false lever. Weird.
yeah, Frank, you take a look at it. It's perfectly fine. It's the
Cool.
lever for the door.
Making sure. Thank you.
So,
So,
whoever's the last one says close it behind us.
Okay.
So it
Pull
says,
the lever.
takes the lever, pulls it down, and again the door silently kind of moves, and it's kind of strange how quiet it is.
Do his legs like bulge? Is he all veiny in his legs?
I mean, are you? Says
You said you got some
What?
thick legs. Are they all veiny and bulgy when you pull the
No,
lever
they're
down?
just, they're not that thick. Come on.
they're well toned. So you guys continue down the cavern, and it actually goes quite a long way. You notice, you guys travel for about 3 minutes. It kind of swerves a little bit, but it never really changes course direction from going straight. You don't, and as you guys start making your way down, still lit by torches, you can kind of start hearing like a little bit of chatter, like kind of like a group of it's common speak, you can tell, but it sounds like a group of people are talking.
Is it still lit further ahead of us?
The torches are like lighting just enough to where where one light ends, the next one starts.
All right, then I'm gonna put out my produce flame, and I'm gonna turn around and whisper, maybe we should proceed a little bit quieter from this point forward.
All right.
As we're walking down this hall, as we get closer into some of the lights or the torches on the wall, you notice that they kind of increase in size a little bit, and then fade back down to the normal size as we're walking past them or away from them.
I'm still not saying anything, by the way. I'm leaving David to his secrets. We just met each other like 5 hours ago, so or Willard to his secrets. So
So,
you
should
want
we
to
try to
proceed
should we make
stealthily
stealth
from here?
checks? Yeah.
So you guys continue walking
So
from.
you're not gonna have
the
us roll
voices-
stealth checks?
Um.
Because I
Actually, yeah, no, yeah. Go ahead, roll. Yeah, roll. If you guys are going to stealth, roll it for me.
Yeah, sure.
16, 19, 21.
Okay.
I will role play for you in my stealth check.
Did you fall? Did you natty one?
You guys make sure you step carefully now. No, he just talks out loud because he apparently didn't. He was perfectly fine movement wise.
14.
14 and David.
I got that'd be shit, what was that? 16.
16. Okay.
This
So,
is my result.
Oh, a 5?
Oh, is it? Okay.
Well, I had a
That's a-
21. I think that evens it out a little bit in our group
That's-
stealth check, my guy.
So, unfortunately, Frank's, for some reason, he just can't quiet his steps. Every step is still kind of a solid thunk. But everyone else is still, like, relatively quiet. Do you
Wait,
guys want to, like...
Are we
move-
doing stealth check, like group stealth checks, or are you doing it based each individual?
I'll do it individual.
Because, like, I know most parties do, like, groups, so, like, if averagely everyone succeeds, then it's counted as a success.
Yeah.
Unless one of those is a natural 1, then you have to
Yeah.
have a natural 20. Otherwise, it's an automatic fail for the group.
It was a natural one.
Oh, it was a natural 1? Oh.
Okay. So,
Thanks
yeah, he is
a
there.
lot.
So,
Funk.
as you guys make your way quieter, other than Frank's, who is still kind of stomping, you guys make your way to what seems to be like a makeshift like wooden wall with a door in it. And the voices are getting louder, and it sounds like very, very like casual talk amongst like what you would assume to be roughly like 20, 25 people.
20 to 25 people?
Mm-hmm. That you can assume just like by the sound of how many people are talking, you can roughly assume about 20 to 25 people are there.
Can we make out any of the words that they're saying?
Roll me a perception check.
I'll do that too.
Group perception check.
22. Oh no, I lied. Not 22. 24.
I rolled a nat 1.
Well, you can't hear nothing, Frenchie.
Just a
Those are-
16.
16.
Caves are
13.
spooky.
What was yours, David?
13.
I had
13.
a
Okay.
24.
So, Willard, Grimgore, and Franks, you all start kind of honing in on the hearing right before the door, and it sounds like typical like camaraderie, like almost like what you would hear in like a tavern. Just people exchanging stories, laughter. You can hear some like banging on a table occasionally. You can kind of hear the people moving around. You can kind of hear gear. You can kind of hear like the truffling of leather against metal and chains and things like that. And the footsteps you hear sounds like they're walking on wood.
I'm gonna open the door. Unless you have something
Oh,
else, David.
I like reach out and grab his hand. I'm like,
I'm in front of you.
or
Yeah, he'll reach
you
behind.
grab your shoulder
Okay.
and try to stop you for a second and just say, hey, if we're not welcome in this place, then we may find ourselves in a bit of a fight.
I'm not the most charming person,
What?
but I don't mind walking in solo and taking the first words. That way, if something goes wrong, you guys can just turn around and leave.
Well, I wouldn't want to leave you here all alone if you were to get caught up.
It's up to you guys. I don't mind.
Oh, I know. I've got some range. I can shoot from away. Need some help, some backup? I'm back here.
All right, let's. I say we proceed, but we be very cautious about what we say and what we do.
Is this one of those times I let you do the talking?
What's your charisma score, Alexander?
14.
I can do the talking.
People appreciate
Right.
honesty, you know.
Franks is a very friendly fellow.
I don't mind doing the talking, but if there's, let's just say the barbarians aren't much for words. So if there's someone,
I mean, I've got a charisma of 14 too, so
Okay.
I don't.
So
I guess since I'm standing in the front, I don't mind doing some talking. That way, if it goes bad, I'll take
are
the
you
first
saying
hits.
you have?
No,
are
it
you-
is not that great, but it is. It's not
What?
negative. It's just a +1, so it's 1 less than you.
okay, before we continue, I gotta move my car real quick. So I'll be right back.
Oh my.
Should I go get my phone now?
Wait,
No.
No,
so
he's literally just moving his car from the parking spot to backing it out.
I mean, I'll move my car.
You don't.
My
You don't need
house.
paperweight. Paperweight.
I mean, actually, do you want to speak, David? Oh, David took his headset off.
1 second.
Because he's also probably a little bit beefy. So, Franks,
Yep.
sup? I want to know your whole life story right here, right now.
Well, it all began back when I was a single little bitty sprocket in my dad's tummy.
And your dad's tummy?
Hey, don't judge how wolf wars be. No.
They're like seahorses, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, as far as you guys can tell, I'm still
Yeah, I know. You're,
plain Jane human.
well, not plain Jane, but you are human.
Yeah, very much
Quirky.
so.
You're a very quirky human. You're a synth. I'm gonna go into your room and see that you don't have toothpaste on. Your cap for your toothpaste on.
You are correct.
David, did you ever get your tea?
No, I just got some milk because I started munching on some Oreos.
And then you wanted some
Oh,
malt.
my
That sounds
Oreos.
good.
I had some
Golden Oreos sounds good.
vanilla
Golden
wafers and
Oreos?
some milk.
Yeah,
Pass me a wafer.
I got you.
I've never actually had them.
I like.
I've seen them,
Here you go,
but
bro.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Oh, oh wow, what a delicious looking wafer.
um,
For all the Google support person says is I see.
I see. You're like, my phone doesn't work. I see.
That's their response.
This is what's wrong with it. I see. My whole life is falling apart.
why do you think it's broken?
Yeah, what's wrong with it, Frenchie? Did someone stab you?
No, it stopped working.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
It's turned off, I can tell you that. The turn it on part's the struggling part.
By the way, this die has been doing very well for me. The red and purple one has been doing a very good job.
I haven't had a top 50% die roll since I started rolling.
You should just get physical die at this point, David. At least a D20, because I think roll 20 is just like, you know, they don't need any good rolls.
Right?
Well, the thing is, roll 20 is probably a lot more accurate at the randomness of a D20 than an actual D20 is.
Yeah.
Because D20s will have chips, will have weight differences, and all this other stuff that we don't know.
Mm-hmm. Damn it.
Just go buy yourself some die, or I can bring you a set when I come down, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 full set of die, and I probably only use about like 3 of them.
I mean, if you wouldn't mind parting with them.
Yeah, you can have the gray ones. You can have the just blue, like this. It's just like clear blue. You can't really see the clearness of it.
Oh yeah, I liked those.
That one I don't really use. I don't use the gray one that's just like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really use the pink ones because I got them from my mommy. But when we were playing Dungeons and
I'll
Dragons,
take those ones. Those were mine.
those were you.
During
Our campaign sophomore year.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what my character's name was.
I don't remember, but he was a rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I don't really use these ones much either, too. Because I rolled these ones, and my first roll on it was a natural 1, so I just never used it again.
Mm-hmm. Well, why would I want that?
Maybe it won't natty 1 for you. But at natty 1 for me, it went BAM! Natural 1. Dude, how long does it take him to move his car? You could have gone to the store, Frenchie. You could have gone and picked up your phone. That doesn't work.
Literally, the store's like around the corner.
You could probably run there faster than Alex getting back.
Okay, yeah, let's be honest.
Oh my! Look at him taking his time, like just standing there, not sitting down,
waiting,
not putting
doing
his
anything.
headphones in. Oh my gosh, he took forever.
Yeah, I know. My parents were very indecisive. So,
Blames his parents.
Continuing where we left off.
We just walked in. We're at the door. I'm gonna let Willard go in front of me. I'm gonna say, Willard, you're a little more charismatic than me, probably.
I'll give him a shot. I've done
And
a little bit of negotiations.
as he passes me, I'm gonna say, I know you didn't tell me the truth.
I don't say anything to him.
Nope, that's all I say. Just, I know you didn't tell me the truth.
Okay.
But, like, I don't say it in an intimidating way, but in a way of, like, just understanding, like, hey, we met each other today. I know you didn't tell me the truth.
I wish for you to keep, or to withhold that information.
Yeah, it's yours till you feel comfortable sharing. Let's go!
So Willard's gonna open the door then?
I guess so. I'm opening the door.
So you open the door, and as you start peeking your head around, it opens up to the scene. It's a very, very large cave with a very, very high stone ceiling. Not man-made, just a natural stone ceiling. It's a large, large cave.
Shit, I just realized what I should have done.
Yeah?
I was going to cast Disguise Self.
Well, you walk through the door. So we'll
I
see.
know. I know. It's too late, so don't
Okay.
worry about it.
So, yeah, as you walk, you notice that the rock or the cave's floor that you're currently walking on seems to have been cut by water. It's very smooth, but not enough to where you would slip walking on it. There's a body of water that sits next to the land of stone that you're standing on, and you see a wooden building that's been constructed on a wooden dock, and you see several individuals in like kind of like dark clothing and a few like tan clothing. They almost look like adventurers. About 20 to 25 of them. You haven't really counted entirely all that was there, but you see a lot
Hi,
of
Poppy.
them. You
Just
see a
let it
lot of
happen.
them. Yeah, I'm gonna let it happen. So a lot of them, they're all like, you see them kind of like sitting at tables outside of the building, and they're kind of like drinking and like, you know, shouting. You see one table, they're like playing a knife game.
Do any of them look like they're 13 and blonde haired?
Give me a perception check.
I'll also do a perception check.
Okay.
12 plus.
And by this time, you've all walked in.
18.
20.
Oh, we probably don't
That
need it.
one, I did not notice shit.
11.
Man, that knife game looks really cool, doesn't it, David?
Yeah, Willard gets very distracted by the knife game, and but the rest of you notice That there is a young boy sitting at a table with two much older um, gentlemen, and he's eating food, and the other two are drinking ale.
Have they
And
noticed us yet?
no, he's talking with them and laughing and just kind of having like a gentle, like a regular conversation with them. And from the description, it looks like Joseph.
Do
How
either of
close
the
are
men
we?
look like his dad?
I'm sorry.
Do either of the men look like his dad?
No.
How close
Maybe.
are we? Like, what's the distance between us and this like scene?
It would take about trying to like get like a good rough estimate.
Like, is it like we just walked into a room, or was it like we
No,
walked
no,
into like?
it's a big cave. Like, what are they called? Like, you're in the inside of what seems to be a giant cave. Like the ceiling is super
Okay.
high, and it's basically like a mini lake that has a dock and a building built within on top of the water.
I'm just gonna like turn to the group and be like, "I'm sorry about this, but this is the only way I know how to live." And I walk up and I sit next to Joseph.
Okay, so it's a bit of a distance. So like the way you have to make the trip. So you have to walk down the stone about, let's say, 20 feet, and then there's a
Okay.
bridge, and as you start kind of making your way like across the bridge, a couple people start noticing you, and they kind of like stand up and like have their hands on their weapons. Um, and eventually, Joseph and those men see you, and they stand up as well, and they kind of like kind of like ready themselves. They're not looking to attack you, but they're looking to be like really ready. And one of the ladies up front, who is well geared, she kind of like starts making her way towards you, and she goes, "How did you find your way in here?"
The same way Joseph finds his way in here.
And quickly, like Joseph like hears his name, and he's like very confused for a second. And she goes, "What business do you have with Joseph?"
Ask his mother.
And she kind of like thinks for a second. She's like, "He has been gone for a very..." Well, she doesn't say this, but she has a look on the face like, "Oh, he's been missing." And you hear kind of like a loud voice, and you kind of hear like you hear a loud voice come from the building, and it opens up, and he goes, "I heard we had visitors." And amongst the doors that open, you see a drow elf in what seems to be like dark leather armor.
It's Strizzed.
Dark leather armor, and he has two daggers to his sides. But he's wearing a very warm face. Not really a deceptive one, but like one that he's like genuinely interested in who these visitors
Do I recognize him as Marahil?
are. You do not.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, he's completely. Yeah, none of you guys recognize this face, and he kind of. He kind of like has his arms open. You see, like the lady kind of like takes her hand off the sword and kind of like walks back to make room for him, and he goes, "Visit us, please. Come."
I wouldn't really call us visitors. We're here for a purpose.
Ah, yes, I know. You're here for young Joseph, aren't you?
Hopefully,
We are.
20 gold.
At a bare minimum, we're here to speak to him and let him know his mom's just darn worried about him.
He kind of scratches his head. And he goes. Ah, yes. This is a very difficult situation. We didn't mean to keep him here this long, but with the situation with the pillars, we have been in a very urgent predicament, so we've had to keep him for a little longer.
Are you guys underhanded, shady, thieves?
He kind of thinks to himself. He's like, how do I describe ourselves? We're not criminals, but we like to work under the eye of the government. How about I introduce myself?
All right, how about you?
Like, usually you follow that up with your name.
So he takes a bow and he goes, "My name is Trelton Duskarala," and I'll go ahead and post that so you guys.
Thank you.
So that's Trelton Duskarala. He goes, "Yes, we do have little Joseph here, but
I
trust
hate
me,
you,
he's
David."
not." He goes, "We have little Joseph here, but I can promise you he is in no way in harm, and he is simply working for us. I lead the group called the Whisperers, which is not spelt in any weird way, just simply the Whisperers." And you see Joseph kind of like makes his way up next to Trelton. He goes, "Oh well, I'm really sorry that I worried my mother. I really didn't mean to."
Why do you do this, Joseph?
And Charlton goes, "Oh, well, please allow me to explain. We, the Whisperers, we are info brokers. We run a society that gathers information for people for money."
Would one's if you were to be run into a guard, would they try to arrest you?
Depends on the information we have. We do have information that is typically publicly available. We more so work to get people for information from outside of the kingdom. Typically, it's not very easy for a normal citizen to discover what exactly is out there
So
in the
you're
other
sending
regions
this
of Celagai.
13-year-old boy outside the kingdom to get information.
Oh, no, no, of course not. We would never do that. Little Joseph here works inside of the city. He works in the underways and helps get information for people who need information specifically about what the pillars are up to.
You guys really are trusting for having just met us like 2 seconds ago.
He goes, "Well, the only thing we really have to hide is this facility. You can't really steal knowledge in a way. We don't write anything that we have down.
I could
But
charm
our
you and make you tell me.
Is there a passive to resist charm? Actually?
It's a save.
Actually, ooh, no, Drow elves. I think they do have advantage on
Oh, yeah,
resisting
they
charms.
They
I think Drow elves have advantage.
They might be immune.
I can't remember if it was immune or advantage.
I'll check. I got it. In any case, so far you've just threatened him, so we'll take up and see what it is when you guys are still looking.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of mentioned, he goes, he's like, "I know you guys are bearers of magic, but as you know, the kingdom, the guards are not allowed to use magic. They wouldn't be able to use that type of stuff on me. And
Advantage.
of course,
Advantage on saving throws of being charmed.
he also says, he goes, and also, I don't have every piece of info that our brokers contain. You would have to get all of us. And I can understand why you would want to, but I can promise you, the work we do is not to harm anyone. It's simply to get information that the kingdom does not want to give us."
Have you ever been on the front lines where that information could end up slaughtering thousands?
What exactly do you mean?
Well, now that I think about it, my tribe planned what should have been a surprise attack on the northern wall of humanity, but was met by one of the most well-armed, well-thought-out defenses. I trust you probably had a hand in it.
He kind of thinks to himself and goes, "Unfortunately, no. I do not recall any of my brokers doing that."
When you say you find...
Insight check on that.
One thing he says,
That.
yeah, I'll let you do the inside check, but also along what he says, he goes, "We do not offer information to guards."
Mine was a... What's insight? Just wisdom?
Nat 20.
Mine was a 13.
You can tell he is genuinely true. He does not give info to the guards, and he does not give info to the kingdom.
Do you give info against the guards and against the kingdom? Is your information about the pillars going to possibly bring danger to humanity?
He goes, "No. Our information is simply to let people know what's going on. As you know, the pillars have left the city. The reason we have had young Joseph running around and helping us out is because we're trying to discover what exactly the reason is that they left. The kingdom does not want to let us know, and the king is trying to keep it under wraps. But some of our adventurers in the city, some of our higher leveled adventurers, they need information. They need to know that what they're doing out there is not going to get in the way of the pillars and eventually end their own lives as well."
Have you ever sent young boys to... Oh, sorry, you first.
Oh, yeah. And how are you getting this 12-year-old boy involved in this?
Well, young Joseph is incredibly stealthy, and some of the friends he has made in his childhood were with noble children, and he's been able to have connections with various children in the noble district that have been able to get some information out of their fathers and mothers.
Now, if I may interject, I do think that this is very, very interesting. I'm sure someone probably cares a bit more than I might. My concern is that Joseph, you need to go home from time to time so your mother stops worrying about you. She put up a request with those adventurers trying to look for you. Now, these high-level adventurers, if they happen to glance at the stone board and have seen a request, maybe they'd be a little concerned that your organization isn't keeping it as hidden as you think it should be. His
And
name's being plastered all over the board. So,
his you might have to retire, Joseph, because due to the information we received from his mother, we suspected he might be in shady business, and now every single one of the what's the name of the guard again?
The Amissial Guard.
Every single one of the Amissial Guard are currently looking for a boy with his description. So now he's gonna have an even harder time sneaking around because you kept him down here. He's a 13-year-old boy, 12-year-old boy.
Yes, I know he's very young, but you gotta understand, he's very mature for his age, and he simply has been wanting to help his mother.
You don't know mature for your age, and I don't care
well,
what he needs to do to help for his mother. He needs to be there.
helping his mother, he needs to help and not worry about him so much as to put a request in with the Adventurers Guild. Would you agree?
He goes, yeah, no, you're right. I did kind of step over my boundaries a little bit in keeping Joseph here for too long. And he kind of looks down at Joseph and goes, he's like, Joseph, he's like, we may have to end our connections here. And Joseph kind of looks like, literally, like, very concerned about, like, he's like, but I need the money. And Charlton kind of goes, he goes, well, I'm sure you can find another way. And Charlton kind of thinks for a second, and he goes, if I may ask, he's like, how did you guys manage to find your way in here?
We
Was it
walked
through the cellar?
downstairs, and he found the thing. And I point at Frank.
Oh, at Frank's.
I'm like,
He
we
goes,
walked downstairs, and he found the stone switch.
He goes, Frank's, huh? Or actually, he doesn't know. No, he goes. So you there, right? You're the one who found it.
Indeed.
Interesting. We tried to keep that mechanism as well hidden as we could. Maybe we could have done a little better. Maybe I just haven't.
Yeah, I
been
mean,
paying enough
actually, if
attention.
you had taken a bit and he starts trying to random like tinker it turns how they could have better hidden the button.
And I just kind of put a hand on his shoulder. I'm like, Frank,
What?
don't help
What?
these people.
Oh, I'm not supposed to.
Don't help
Quit.
these ones.
But
Don't-
this is what
don't
time
help
you're
these
talking.
ones.
My apologies. I'm sorry. He's supposed to be talking.
No, it's not a time of who's talking. It's a who you're talking to. Don't help these ones.
They aren't part of my mission.
They'll probably cause you to
Alright.
have more discord further down the line. You don't want to get involved with these folks, especially you don't want to help them.
Well, I think it'd be more fun for this gentleman right here, this Trelton. Sir, if you should probably go and apologize to this boy's mother yourself for putting him in some type of. She does make a marvelous glass of what was that stuff called? That was tea. Tea. It was marvelous and warm, I think. So
He kind of thinks to himself, and he goes, well, I do like tea. He's like, He kind of starts like, he goes.
You shouldn't go to this boy's mother.
He goes, give me 1 second, and he kind of like retreats back into his building real quick, and all the other people that were there kind of just like sit back down and go back to drinking and stuff.
You do realize
tell
you
that-
just told this possible criminal to go to this boy's home, who he was working for.
To make a proper apology.
It might not be an apology that he's going to make.
Why else would he have cause to do otherwise? The gods are already looking for people. They already know the quest is there. It's as official as it's gonna get.
Generally, people in an underground circle aren't going to be very fond of people in their underground circle being found out. Family is a good pressure point to now make it so that this boy can't leave.
That doesn't make any sense, because this boy's already run away from his mother. It
You
just
can't
kind
leave
of
this-
Joseph kind of like in the middle of your guys' conversation kind of walks up to you and I'm really sorry that you guys got caught up in all of this. He's like, but I can promise you the people here aren't bad people. He's like, they're just trying to get information to the citizens that, they just want to know what's going on.
Well, that may be true, but sometimes people aren't very nice about how they get information, which I think is what has this gentleman right here so worried. Now, the thing that is, you need to realize your face, your description is now known by all the gods.
Yeah, I know. That is
In fact,
Very
if
troublesome.
we walk out of here and a guard finds you before we find a guard to tell them to spread the news that you're okay, they're going to stop you, probably arrest you, come find us, and bring us to you.
and And he kind of thinks to himself. He goes, "Yeah, that's very difficult."
Unless your mom
Yes.
actually went and grabbed some guards to wait at the entrance of the tunnel. Maybe we shouldn't have closed the tunnel so that they knew the tunnel was there. But then again, us closing the tunnel probably kept them from coming down here and starting a big fight.
He kind of thinks to himself, and well, he's like, "Well, I thank you for at least closing the tunnel. I really don't. I can't. Like this place can't be figured out."
Well, we might have to collapse this tunnel on our way back, otherwise they'll come down here, because the guards are probably waiting inside of your house, waiting for us to
Well, I
come
mean,
back.
the lady knows about it though.
Your mom knows about it, and she was going to get guards.
She knows about the tunnel. Oh no! And he kind of like starts like kind of sweating a bit, and he's kind of trying to
Well,
think.
Was your father
Joseph,
a part of this?
She's like, "Well," he's like, "Well, my father's actually the reason I had to take up this job. And when my father passed away, we found out that he had an incredible amount of debt towards the kingdom.
that doesn't match
Apparently,
what your mother said.
well, she told me about it, but she's not very fond of telling people that we owe so much. When my father and my mother met each other and ran away, before he took his role as a god, um, they were not paying their taxes towards the kingdom in outer humanity. And once they were found out, he was drafted to help repay those debts. And unfortunately, he passed away so early and was killed that the remaining amount of debt was still an incredible amount.
What do you think of humanity?
Hmm.
We're all foreigners here. What do you think of humanity?
I think it's a society that's welled up in a shell for too long. And I feel like the rest of the world has advanced so much and we don't know much about it that it's incredibly dangerous. What if something has been gathering its power? What if an army has been raising its staves and one of these days they decide to come and take us out? Especially with the leaving of the pillars, it just alerted me to thinking like, yes, we have the Amicio Guard, and yes, they are strong, but we don't know how strong the outside world is. And he kind of looks at you. And he goes, "You're a barbarian, aren't you?"
Yes.
He goes, "Even your guys. I remember your guys' attack on the wall. Although you guys were defeated."
Yeah. Okay. He would have been 9 when the attack happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was like everyone heard about it. It was a big thing, but yeah, he's like I remember hearing about the attack. Like even though you were defeated, you broke the North Wall, which is more than any other army has ever done in the history of humanity, from what I've heard. Like, and you guys were simply just tribes of barbarians. What if the societies in the other continents? What if they're preparing even more than you are? Can we really, can we really defend that? I'm just worried that people are living too much in ignorance right now. And I think we need the kingdom to tell us these things. We need to know that we're going to be safe.
If it makes you feel any better, myself and this awkward one over here, again pointing at Frank, um, we've been decreed to experiment and grow certain powers. At least I have, and I assume he has too, based off a similarity of people that we know. And I want to assure you that even though I am not fond of humanity, nor am I fond of the people within it, your king is not simply standing by and letting your people wither to be taken over by foreign others. In fact, the only reason the pillars are leaving, if you paid attention to that meeting this morning, was because in fact he felt strong in his current defensive strength of his kingdom. In fact, what you're doing now could be weakening the kingdom's defenses. For spreading word to the people, not everyone is who they seem to be. Not everyone inside of these walls are for humanity. In fact, you could be sending things to people that have ill will for humanity. In fact, if I had been able to get the information that they had 4 years, was it 4 years ago? Yeah, 4 years ago. If I had been able to get the information that you guys have spreading 4 years ago, I would have used it to help us do an extremely higher amount of damage to humanity. You might have even died.
He kind of like thinks for a minute and he's like, I'm not a big fan of the Judicator. I don't like to always trust what he says. He's very full of himself. I see what you're saying, but I mean, for the most part, even though I do talk about letting the people know, for the most part, we give it to the adventurers because we believe that they're responsible enough to withhold the information that they pay for.
They're also the ones who go outside the walls the most and are the easiest to be influenced by gold.
Oh, I know they can be influenced, but they're also doctrined. If they are really needed, if they really seek to betray humanity, they are in our books, and the kingdom has matches to deal with them.
If I had more power, and someone told me that they could bring down humanity, part of me would still do it.
He
Oath or
kind of
not.
nods. Yeah, he kind of nods and he goes, "Well, we don't have information like that." So, and you kind of, as you guys are kind of talking, you see Trelton kind of make his way back, and he kind of looks to you guys, and he's kind of like, um, he's like, "I know you're not very fond of us, and I know our first impressions aren't probably too great with the situation with Joseph, but I was wondering if I could offer you guys a request."
No.
What would the request be?
He goes, "There's a town that we've recently gotten information about. It is the town of Rakengard, and it is sought over by a baron by the name of Ver Dursdisk. And I'll go ahead and type that out.
We already have the quest. We can scroll up.
Yeah, you got it. Okay." And he goes, "For some reason, this town has been it's a fairly large town for something in outer humanity, but for some reason, the town has not been able to yield crops, and it hasn't been yielding what it's supposed to for the kingdom. Now, this Baron, I know he recently put out a quest to have farmhands come and help him, but it seems that every time he's requested for people to come, they've abandoned the town and simply just turned in the quest as a failure. And I've been wanting to get some more information about this Sir Baron, because I feel like something is going on in this city that I am not aware of."
Well, best thing to do, they got this Adventurers Guild, and there's this board, and what you do is you talk to this nice lady named Elizabeth. She'll write down your request. Now, you put in there how much you want the adventurers to get as a reward for that quest, and he starts explaining the entire quest system.
Yeah, he goes. Oh, don't worry, sir. He's like, "I understand how the Adventurers Guilds work, but I have two problems with that. One, I'm needing to find information on the Baron, and I cannot specifically put that on an Adventurers Guild. It would instantly put me under eyes of the god. And two, every time the adventurers have been sent for this quest, they have returned as a failure. This quest has been put on the bounty board 10 times.
We might take that quest as farmhands to do that. Whether or not my compatriots decide to assist your endeavors is up to them, but I will not bring any information to you. I don't like what you stand for. I don't like what you do."
Well, he goes, "Well," he's like, "I'm willing to offer a reward for
I'm
completing this
listening.
quest for me.
I'm listening.
So, let me see if I got this right." He goes, "I simply need you to complete that quest at the Adventurers Guild. Find out what the Baron is doing, if he's doing anything shady. Any kind of information is valuable to me. Whatever he does during the day, the moods of the townspeople, the conditions of the crops, any kind of information would be helpful. Unfortunately, right now, I do not have anyone I can send out to get that information at the moment. But it's been in the back of my mind for too long, and I feel like it is about time that I got the information that I needed."
Joseph, how much of a debt does your family have?
Joseph kind of thinks back and he goes, he's like, "We still owe about, I'd say, 20,000 gold pieces."
What was this guy's name again?
Trelton Duskwalla.
Charlton.
He goes, "Yes."
How much do you generally pay this boy per week on a weekly basis?
"Well, I typically try to get him at least 100 gold pieces I can a week, but I typically let him keep whatever he sells. So whatever information he can sell to the adventurer, I typically let him keep whatever he makes."
If you give him 150 gold pieces a week, that'll get me willing to walk down that quest. In addition to whatever you're going to offer us, since this boy is going to be out of a job.
I was gonna say yes. I know we have a bad first impression, but I really do care about Joseph's well-being. He's been very good to me, and I've been trying to be very good to him. I will, I can do your condition. I'll offer you my terms. I will double the bounty for Joseph. I will pay you what the double bounty is for Joseph's bounty. But in return, I have people and connections that can get Joseph's name, or I want Joseph's name's cleared. I want him to be told that he has returned home safely and that he was just running amok, or whatever story you can come up with, that he just ended up coming home safely and he just was being amok and just didn't think about coming home recently. I will double the bounty for you, and I will pay Joseph 150 gold pieces a week to continue working for me, because he's very valuable and I do truly want to help him. But I can't have him under the eyes of the guard. And if you can do that, not only will you get the reward, I can also compensate the reward for the investigation quest as well.
No, this boy is done. You will pay him. I don't want any more of your money. And you'll leave him and his family alone other than paying them what you've done. You've put him in enough danger as it is. It takes one bad adventurer who doesn't get the information he wants to do something terrible to Joseph to get the information that he does.
Well, he goes, well, I can't.
Until his 18th birthday. 16th. Until his 16th birthday. For 3 years. We will go around and we'll tell the guards nothing. We'll tell them he got lost, and he got lost in a different part of the city and couldn't find his way back. Whatever it is. But for 3 years, you'll pay this boy and leave him alone till he's 16.
He kind of thinks this. He goes, well, he's like, if Joseph's name's cleared and none of the information about the Whispers gets out, I'd be willing to do that.
I'm guessing
What do you
have,
find gentlemen think?
Are you skilled in certain weapons and fighting styles?
He's like, he goes, well, I'm very strong in stealth combat, and I like to think I know my way around my dagger. I'm not much of a fist fighter or a one-on-one fighter, but I can usually make my rounds.
3 years you can train this boy.
He kind of looks down at young Joseph, and Joseph's kind of like, he's just been kind of listening to the conversation calmly, and he goes, so you're saying to train him, but not to have him work for me?
Don't
correct?
have him work for you. Train him. Make sure he's home every night to his mother. When the street lights go on, he should be indoors.
He's kind of like nodding, like listening in. He goes, okay. So he will still work for me for 3 years, and I'll train him.
In 3 years, he will work for you. For those 3 years, he'll be going under training. For
Okay,
those
so
3
in
years, you'll be training him. Paying him and training him. And then when he's 16, if he wants to, he'll work for you. If he doesn't, you let him go.
He thinks it, and he goes, that's fair. That is very fair indeed. And if you're in agreement with keeping the Whispers information secret, these are terms that I can agree with.
Are you guys okay with this?
Oh, I'm good with it.
I just nod.
I won't specifically tell any kind of fake story, but I can definitely omit what I've seen.
On this matter, Frank, I'll do the talking.
Very well.
Okay, so let me type out what the deal is. So we're gonna double. So I said I was gonna double the bounty.
I don't need the doubled bounty. I just want.
don't need
So what I want is him getting 150 gold pieces a week.
Okay.
Him getting trained
okay.
for him getting trained for 3 years, and then at the age of 16, if he wants to, he can go back to work for them.
Okay.
And then on
Oh,
our terms, we won't tell we'll make up some story to tell the guards that he was lost, he was somewhere else, he was with friends, you know, he went outside the city walls and we had to go find him. I don't care what we have to tell him. We will not like get his name cleared on that sense, and we won't tell anyone about the Whisperers.
He goes.
And then we will we'll take this quest and go do it.
That's 23,400 gold.
What? 150 gold pieces a week for 3 years.
For 3 years, yeah.
You got to think about
That's
the interest on his
that's for his
20,000 debt. You got to think about the interest on his debt.
So he
his
kind of. So he goes. Celia, did you get all that? And you notice that there was a young lady who was actually writing down everything you guys were talking about. She goes, yes, I got the contract right here. And he brings it over. He goes, okay. He's like, we will sign this, and we will be in agreement for this request. Um, and I'll be sure to train Joseph, make sure he gets home every night. It seems I'll have to go into the field again to get 150 every week, but I'll make it happen somehow.
By the way, guys, we might have to go return this quest, and I hold up the other one that was to go escort the guy from the two cities. We might remember that quest that I charmed her to give us. We might have to return it and grab the other one.
Oof.
So who wants to do the talking on this one?
You see, Charlton was like listening. He goes. Did you charm Elizabeth?
Nope. Just with my suave charms.
In the back, I'm nodding yes.
Okay.
So who wants to do the talking on this one? Because I don't think she's happy with me.
You dug your own hole for this one.
Charlton kind of like waves you. He's like, if you come to this table, we'll go ahead and sign right here. So he sits down and has the piece of paper. Two ink quills are brought over.
I can't sign.
Yeah, I was gonna say someone else has to sign. Grimgor can't write.
I tell him, he brings out the inkwell, hands it to me, he goes, unless this is a weapon, I don't know how to use it.
I will sign.
He's like any signature from any four of you will do.
We don't have a group name yet. We should establish
We
one.
do. You gave one to Elizabeth.
We don't have a group name yet. We should make one.
No, our group name is called Maybe Later. Did you forget?
Charlton's just waiting patiently with the pen in his
Well,
hand.
I don't have the pin. You have the pin, David Willard.
Yeah. So I go ahead and sign it, and then right where it asks what the team name is, maybe later.
Okay. And
I don't know.
You also take a quick glance at the contract, and it outlines everything you guys talked about: the 150 gold pieces a week, the training for Joseph for 3 years, returning him home every night.
Did he
and then
lie?
at the age
Okay.
of 16, he will decide if he wants to come back to the Whispers or not.
Instead of saying 150 gold, just say pays off his debt, so that it's exactly the 20,000 or whatever that he has.
Okay, yeah, okay. Pays off the debt in 3 years.
Yeah, pays off the debt in 3 years, trains him.
And then in return, the Whispers will not be discovered, and the information will be withheld. A story will be made up for Joseph's return. He will no longer be working with the Whispers. And I think there's one other thing I'm missing.
We'll go do the quest.
You will be taking the investigation quest and bringing back whatever information you can.
But Joseph's gonna have to come with us as we walk out if our story is gonna work.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he goes. Yeah, he's like, you're gonna have to figure a way to talk to the mother about all this, won't you?
How upset would you be if we collapsed this tunnel?
I put a lot of work in this tunnel. Well, that tunnel in particular, just that one.
Just the one right outside of.
It'll make my trek to Joseph's home a little harder, but
Do I have any spells that can collapse this easily?
Probably just smack the scaffolding.
I mean, I got ice knife. I can cause an explosion of ice.
I can disable it. Well, I can make sure that switch don't work no more.
Perfect. Or actually, could you tinker with it so that it would only open from the inside?
Well, yeah.
There we go. And then you'll just have to be able to sneakily get in and out of his house without him being able, so that his mother thinks he's not sneaking out through the same hole. But you can still use it
telling
from
her
the
something's
inside.
a good idea, but that's all you. Because I'm looking to Charlton and Joseph.
I don't think it's a good idea because then she'll start asking questions. If we're at least for this, if we're going with this that we just signed and put maybe later as our name down.
Maybe later.
So wait, so what were you guys discussing exactly?
We're just gonna basically tamper with the stone switch on the inside the
and then
house,
just have that one
so
disabled.
that way they can't get in and be like, look, he can't get out anymore. But make it so that he can still get in with the lever switch if he needs to get Joseph in and out.
Charlton goes, well, he's like, that'll work for me. He's like,
All
I'll leave the stories and stuff to you gentlemen once you leave. for the mother and the gods.
Is there like is the floor like floor or is it like dirt?
It's so you guys are on top of the lake on like a wooden. It's a man-made wooden like floor with a wooden building on
Can
it.
I get access to dirt?
Not in this vicinity. No, you're in a cave. There's no dirt.
Well, you said we're on top of a lake, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there'd be like muddy water on the bottom.
I mean, it's just stone at the bottom. I mean, there's dirt in the cavern or in the tunnel.
Okay. Then when we
Yeah.
get into the tunnel, I'm gonna take the dirt and like rub it all over Joseph, so it looks like he's been out in the wild.
Okay. So Willard goes ahead and signs it. He spins the paper around. He signs it, and he kind of like bites his thumb, and does kind of like a little like blood print on it. And he goes, he's
I
like,
don't like
"This is
that.
how you know."
I don't
He
like
goes,
that.
"This will be in good faith."
I don't like that.
And Trelton goes, he's like, "Don't worry, I do this for all my contracts."
Yeah, that's
And,
the part I don't like.
He rolls it up. He kind of rolls it up and puts it in a bottle. And he goes, he's like, "I'll keep this on hand with me, and I will have your reward ready for when you."
How much are we getting paid by you?
He said, "Well, he's
To
like,
find
"Didn't you say you
information?
did-"
No, to find information. You said there was still a reward for us. Like he wasn't gonna. So he's not doubling the price of the request for finding Joseph, but he said
Oh,
there
he
was
said-
still
he
a
said so-
reward.
Yeah, he said, so if the investigation quest turns out to be a failure because of whatever information you find out, just like as all the adventurers have done, I will compensate you for the reward of the investigation quest.
Okay. So basically, our investigation quest. So that's the Baron's chest. He'll give us equivalent value of the Baron's chest if we succeed.
Yes.
And then if we don't succeed, he still gives us so either way, we're getting an equivalent section of the Baron's chest.
Yeah, so if you succeed in the quest, you'll get the Baron's lockbox, and if you don't, he'll comp you for whatever it was.
Okay.
From what you can tell, he's just trying to figure out what's going on with this town. And if you guys end up helping the town and it's fine, then, good for them. But if something's not working out, then he'll comp you for whatever information you got.
But is he gonna pay us if? So say we help the town and bring him information. Do we get money for that? For bringing him information?
If it's information that works against the Baron, then yeah, he'll pay you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You guys good with that?
Yep.
Says, do you know how to nod? All right, we're good.
He goes, well, I know this was a very strange meeting, but I'm glad we found some business together. And don't worry, I will be holding up my end of the bargain.
You better, or every single guard will know where you are and how to get to you.
He goes, don't worry, I value my secrecy.
All right, come on, Joseph. It's time to go home.
Joseph kind of like gets up from his chair and he goes, okay.
Someone say you're Spider-Man far from home. Let's go.
He goes, what's Spider-Man?
And at that point, I'm gonna use my second shapeshift I can do for the day to turn into a giant spider right there.
Everyone freaks out. Everyone pulls out their weapons. They're like, what? How'd the spider get in here?
And then 6 seconds later, I'm gonna use my bonus action to put me back into being a human.
Okay, everyone's like, oh, he's transformed. And
It's just like
Charlton kind of he knew you transformed, so he kind of just laughs and goes, what a.
that's a Spider-Man. Now you're far from home. Let's go. And I kind of
Joseph
grab him by
kinda
the
freaked
scruff
out.
and push him along.
Yeah, and he kind of starts walking with you, dragging him along. Okay.
I had to use both of my shapeshift perks for the day. All right, I didn't want to waste anything.
So you guys go ahead and make your way back to the door into the tunnel.
So as we're walking back, so I'm like, all right, guys, we say this tunnel leads out to outside inner amenity walls into jungle type area. We found him out there. You want to say injured, and we could injure him a little bit, rough him up.
Joseph's like, what?
Well, there has to be a reason for you not coming home for 4 days.
Yeah, but you don't have to hurt me
I'm gonna punch him in the chest.
right now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna not enough to really hurt him, but enough to where it'll leave a bruise.
This just in the chest or
In the
stomach?
chest, not knock the air out of him, but upper chest. So
Okay.
and
So
then
you-
a couple on the arms, and then one in the eye.
If you do a one, after the first one, like Grimgore, I'd suggest you don't continue that line. Action.
He's got to be hurt. He's got to be hurt. There's got to be a reason.
So you start beating this 13.
No, I only do the one. I stop after that.
Okay.
I stop no, I just do the one hit.
Going down.
So you aim for a punch, and he kind of like reflexes. You kind of get him in like the left pectoral.
Yeah, I'm not
He's
trying
like,
to hurt him, but I'm trying to just put a little bruise on him. So like,
You have to hurt them to put a bruise on.
I'm not trying to kill him, hurt him.
Yeah, I know, but you still punch. You give him a pretty good punch.
Yeah.
And he recoils. He's like, why?
Well, that's for running away for 4 days and not telling where you're at.
He's
And
like,
then I pick
couldn't.
up some dirt and like rub it on his face.
He's like trying to like stop you. He's like, stop.
You can't look nice. You've been gone for 4 days, supposedly in the
You don't have
wild.
to be so rough with me.
All right, then you go. Put some dirt on you.
Hey,
Yeah,
I
you
kind
gotta,
of want. Sorry, this is non-dungeon things. I kind of want to go out and get my phone before the place
Well,
closes.
we're almost done, I think.
Yeah, what time does the place close?
At 5, so in half an hour.
In half an
in
hour.
half an
What?
hour? Okay, well we'll
Yeah.
start closing up a little quickly then. So he goes in and puts some dirt on his face, and you guys make your way back. Pull the lever, door opens up, and you see the mother come running down. She goes, "Have you guys returned? Is Joseph there?"
Yes, the tunnel we had found led us outside, and we found him out in the woods. Seems that he was stuck under a felled log.
Oh,
She's got a
Joseph.
huge bruise on his
Yeah.
chest.
So she like quickly runs up and holds him. She goes, "Oh, Joseph, are you okay?" And he kind of goes like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And she goes, I'm sorry, but I didn't run to get the guard. If he was doing something out of the law, I couldn't see my baby getting taken away."
Understandable.
She goes, "But I'm glad he's okay. Your payment. Yes, of course. I already put the payment in at the guild. So all you have to do is just return the quest there, and they'll hand you the gold that I promised."
We're also gonna go ahead and fix this switch so we can't sneak out anymore.
Yes, please, if you would.
Yeah, I'll get
Joseph,
to work on that.
Joseph, you're gonna have to turn in every night from now on. And he goes, "Yeah, I will." And she kind of like starts bringing him upstairs, and she goes, "Thank you again."
All right, then we best run back to the guild super fast.
Yeah.
We're gonna just all knees to chest back to the guild.
Okay, so you say
hold on,
goodbye
he's-
you say goodbye to Mother Om, and you quickly bolt back. And it's about sundown too. Like it's starting to get pretty late, and you make it back to the Adventurers Guild, and Elizabeth is there, of course, at the front desk. There's a decent amount of adventurers now in the building, a decent amount eating and drinking, so it's kind of loud. And she kind of turns, she goes, "Ah, Grimgor, you've returned. Your quest was successful."
Yeah, we found Joseph. So what was it? 20 gold.
Ah, yes.
So five each.
She goes ahead and she pulls a little drawer out with a cupboard with a box in it, and she opens it up, and inside are 20 gold pieces. And she goes, "Well, here's your reward, and I will be going and I will make sure to get confirmation from Lady Om that you did complete the quest."
Real quick, I hate to do this. I just hate to do this.
She kind of like squints her eyes a bit. She's like,
Don't worry, no hands. I'll put them like behind my head. It looks like I'm getting arrested, like hands behind my head. Just
She kind of like
do this.
she kind of like pretends to like she's pretends she's like holding like a make believe sword behind her back. She's like,
So the quest that I might have charmed you for, so that we could take two. We don't actually want this quest. We want the other one now.
She gives
we
like
got a little
sigh.
bit. We got a little bit more information, and we think that one actually really needs some adventurers to go and figure out what's wrong with it. Much
She
more
kinda,
than
like-
this guy needs to be escorted.
She keeps her eyes squinted, and she's like, She like pulls out. She goes back down. She pulls out her book, and she's writing. She removes the wax seal, and she goes, "Well, that quest has been a bit of a problem. From my record books, this quest has been failed 10 times. I'm not quite sure what's going on in that town, but that's no problem. I'll go ahead and give you the quest." And she stamps it. She's like, "Could you remove it from the stone board for me?"
I walk over and I yank it off and I hand it to her.
Okay, so she takes it and she scribbles some notes on it, puts it in her book, closes it. She goes, "Okay, well, you're good for the quest."
How far of a travel is it to the name of the city's name that I'm forgetting?
Rakengard, that's the name of the town, which I will typing. Oh wait, no, you have the quest stuff.
Goes.
Rackengard is about. Where's my map? Rackengard is about northwest, like about right where the O for outer is. That's about where Rackengard's at.
Question.
Mhm.
Outer Amenities still within Amenities walls, right?
Yes.
Before that northern wall got up, did our tribe ever raid that area?
Not in particular. Not
Okay.
not in the history books that I know of.
Well, I mean, you're the DM, so it's up to you whether or
Oh,
not
yeah,
we
okay.
raided that. I'm asking you as DM, did we ever raid that area?
No, the wall you broke through was the outer amenity wall.
Well, because remember they put up the wall because of our attacks before
Oh, wait, no,
when my
yeah, you're
grandfather
right,
was
you're
kicked
right.
out.
Well, no, towns weren't really being built out there at the time.
Okay.
You probably did pillage some villages, but they probably weren't.
But
like,
not
under
this
the rule of
town,
Amenity.
okay.
Yeah. No,
Not
you
town
didn't
level.
pillage Rackengard.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Because
No,
it
you're
might bring back some bad memories if a full-fledged barbarian comes walking into their town.
No, you're good.
All right, it's Rackengard.
Anything else you need from me?
That should be it. So you said only the first day was free, and now we have to pay.
Yes, and I changed the cost of the inn. It's She goes, if you want to stay here, it's a bit pricey. It'll be 8 silver. Or you can stay at some of the lesser taverns. They typically range around 3 to 5 silver.
I'll just be sleeping outside.
Out on the street.
Yeah, I've got a bedroll.
She kind of shrugs. She goes, well, I have no problem with that then. How about you 3?
I'll be taking another room tonight.
Okay.
I was actually thinking about staying up and just kind of sitting over there in the corner, seeing how things go.
Well, I have no problems with that either. How about you, young says?
I'll stay another night.
Okay. Well, that'll be 16 silver total. And she'll take the 8 silver from both of you.
And I'm not already pulling my bedroll off of my adventurer's backpack and starting heading outside.
Okay. And if you guys don't want to do anything else, then we'll just cut to the point. You guys, Frank stays up, and the rest of you go to sleep.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Go, Frenchie, go.
Cool.
Get phone with dude.
I mean, I'll be back in like 10
We
minutes.
found a
but-
boy.
You're good. No, we're gonna still be in here. We're gonna
Yeah.
talk a little bit about the session and stuff. So.
We found a boy, guys. We did it.
So how was that for first session?
It wasn't bad. It was pretty good.
Pretty decent.
You handled the fact that with it, we did things not nearly as planned rather well.
Oh yeah.
It's like, yeah, let's go ahead just for take 2 and charm the random desk lady. Yeah, that's let's do it.
Hey, sometimes
I,
you gotta charm the. You gotta get that quest. You gotta charm the desk lady.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with your actions. I'm saying you did very well handling it.
The way I wanted to write this, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have 3 quest paths for everyone, and I had kind of like little mini stories to go with each of them. And I'm kind of glad you guys didn't go with the escort quest because that was probably the one I wrote about the least. So that kind of worked out in my favor.
That's because no one likes escort.
No one likes that. I literally only grabbed it because it was the
It's the
only
first
one
one.
that like. Because like, so I grabbed the other one inside the city. Well, at first I grabbed it because you said it was the first one, and I randomly grabbed one. But then the only reason why I did the other one was because it was inside the city and was worth a good amount of gold. And the only one I grabbed that one is because I don't know how much a loot box worth in your world.
A loot box, yeah. But yeah, so that's it for the first session. The next session, you guys will be traveling to Rackengard to meet Baron Verdurdisk.
Oh, you guys ready for the bandits and goblins that are gonna attack us along the road? Oh, we're gonna have to get a stinking cart and horses. You never
you can
did tell
walk
us.
there,
You
but
never
it'll
did
be a bit.
tell us how far it was away.
If you guys were to take a carriage, it would be about a day travel.
Dylan, you can
If-
burn those thorns.
If you were to walk, it would probably take you about 3 days.
I mean, we just gotta look to see how expensive a carriage is if we want to invest.
500 gold pieces. No,
Did you
not
even
really.
look at the thing?
I just went off of WoW gold prices. 5,000 gold pieces.
Oh, for first. That's not for
amount.
first level writing. First level writing's like 40.
Amenities inexpensive place.
Amenity is you either get the master riding or none.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
We have well-trained horses.
Yeah, so I thought it went well.
Can I have the traveling tundra? And Adam can drive, and I'll just sit on the side.
Oh man. Yeah, you like you said, you adapted well to random things happening.
And also, just for clarification, I did have the investigation quest tie in to the aid quest. I didn't want it to make it seem like I was trying to streamline you guys anywhere. That was where I was intentionally having that quest to go. If you guys were to do investigation first.
I just feel bad because I charmed her, made her give us 2 quests, and it's like,
Oh, she's
well,
upset with you.
forget this quest then.
But she's dealt with plenty of adventurers, so it's not her first rodeo.
Dude, your dog is freaking out, Alex.
Yeah. Poppy! Hey, Poppy, come here.
So Alex's grandfather is like basically deaf, so Poppy is used to just like barking like crazy. She needs a haircut, dude.
She does. My parents haven't taken her out anywhere. I keep telling them because she has knots in her head.
How bad's her breath?
Not as bad as it usually is. But I don't let her lick my face, so. Come here, princess.
I'm gonna hop off. Quite fun. Yay.
Anything else you guys?
Oh,
from
do
me?
we want to go weekly, or do we want to like
I'm fine with weekly.
say weekly, and then if something happens, we skip a week?
Yeah. This time is good for me. It's not too late. It's in between family.
Yeah.
So this
This
good
time
for
is
me.
perfect for me because it's like right after church, and I'm just relaxing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm okay with weekly. I'll try and I'll see how the pacing is, like with writing.
Although
like,
I think
my own
Frenchie
stuff.
said that it might conflict with his other D&D campaign.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
we'll have to see.
Okay. But yeah, I'll see
No.
how the pacing is. If I don't think I can actually keep up with a weekly, we'll do bi-weekly.
And I can do this same time on Saturday too, by the way. So it's not like I can only do it on Sunday. I can also do it on Saturdays.
Saturday is a lot harder for me.
Okay.
Most of our kid events happen around that time, and
Baseball, soccer, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts.
yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. If you guys don't have any other questions for the campaign, then yeah, we're good.
Cool.
Did you
Yeah,
have
no,
fun?
Do you
Yeah.
as far as this bookkeeping, are you going to keep track of our experience and how much we level? Are you just gonna say, hey, you guys level to 3, or hey, you guys?
Are you
Yeah,
doing
I'm gonna have.
checkpoint
We're not gonna do
leveling?
experience. I'm gonna have you guys level based on like major events.
So
Cool.
you're doing checkpoint leveling. Okay. I actually kind of prefer that because
Same.
the problem with
Yeah.
experience leveling is it leads to what's called murder hobos, to where you just kill everything because everything's experience points, and you never like try and talk your way out of a situation because you're like, I can get 15 experience if I kill that chicken. I'ma go kill the chicken.
Yeah.
Adam, I feel like you and I have watched the same YouTube video.
Yeah, probably. I think we watched it together at one point.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who was the big spoon?
We
I'm
go back
always
and
the big
forth.
spoon.
No, we go back and forth. Sometimes it feels nice to be held. Okay.
You guys have a good one. This was great. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that, dude.
Yeah. I'm glad it.
Oh, I
ended
can
going
stop
pretty well.
recording.